Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for a personal reading, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for on these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first is a free reading for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that. The other giveaway we're doing is we will be doing a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes. So make sure you're tapping that screen. We will get to 50K in no time. Before we get started, I am going to be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. Now, if you would like to catch any of those full readings, you can find them over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find them over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find them as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Substack. But first and foremost, most important question, scale of 1 to 10, no wrong answers. How are you doing? I just want to tell you, if you're feeling a little bit of this intensity right now, welcome to multi-ball. That's the best way I can describe this energy. Here's the thing. Okay, we're going to walk through it. Okay, Gemini energy can be very exciting. It can be very fast. It can be very snappy. But it can sometimes feel a little bit ungrounded. Okay, if you're feeling this right now, I want you to work on building into practices right now that help to ground you. Because what we basically got, okay, I'm going to walk you guys through it. We basically have right now, we are in Gemini season. We've got Jupiter in Gemini, and we got Mercury that just went into Gemini. We just are coming out from this new moon. So this is it's very, very up in the air. It's literally up in the air energy. And the way I like to describe it is the way I've been talking about this is typically I see Gemini energy as pinball energy because it talks, and it's beautiful when we look at the conversation that occurs between Taurus cycles and Gemini cycles, because we talked about this and we've been talking about this in the podcast. But Taurus cycles often teach us about the working, like how one creates a groove, right? It's working through tenacity. It's finding that strength to endure. It's often hitting those moments that we're like when we're tired or we're frustrated, but we push through that. And it's beautiful because and I like too, because I often feel that, but this is why this time of year can sometimes feel a little bit triggering, because the conversation, but that I often interpret between Taurus and Gemini is very much the difference between nature and nurture, right? It's working through what feels comfortable for the self, right? What feels natural, but it's not. And again, when we come into that space of being like, are we always just the things that we arrive as? Like, yes, but it's also conditional on what it is that we apply our force of pressure on, right? So again, Taurus kind of works us through that inclination, that frustration that we often sometimes feel when we're trying to when we're trying to learn a new skill, right? When we're trying to break an unhealthy cycle. And what do you often hear? Like, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. And it feels impossible. And it feels impossible because that's the song you sing as you're making it real, right? It's impossible until it isn't. It feels overwhelming until it's not. Until that beautiful, blessed day comes that the thing that you used to do that took all of your effort and energy, you just move into it. You just go into it without even thinking. And it's in that moment that you're able to recognize and understand the value of that perseverance, right? And I love it. I think it's so beautiful because I feel like the conversation between Taurus and Gemini is, it's not what you feel that is natural, it's what you apply your force towards. It's where you put your heart. It's where you put your intentionality, right? And often that working through that impossibility, right? Even through the frustration of the self, what does that perseverance bring? Flourishing, expansion. That said, that said, the difficulty with some of this energy right now is when I describe the fact that Gemini is a lot of that pinball, right? That rapidness that often happens. We've got so many planets in Gemini right now. It feels it's proximate to what we might experience in like multi-ball, if you like pinball, which is a lot of things happening at once, right? And it can be very easy in these type of energetic cycles to feel overwhelmed. It can be very easy to feel like there's too much happening. But that's why I keep on saying, if you're feeling that right now, like the mantra to help you through that is you set your own pace, right? When things feel like it's a race, set the pace, because one's ability to, again, this is taking the lesson of Taurus, bringing it into Gemini. This is how the energy helps it. It's not too much of one. It's not too much of the other, right? That when we feel like there's too much happening around us, our steadiness in being intentional helps us through a lot of that energy. So that's why I kept on telling you guys, make sure that you're focusing right now on your manifestation goals. Make sure you're prioritizing those manifestations. Make sure that you're not being too reactive right now. And most importantly, make sure that you're not being triggered. Because I kept on seeing that there was a little bit of something about this new moon in Gemini, which is like the audacity. It's working through the audacity. But I also think it's really important because I feel like a lot of the work that we often have that occurs during Gemini season as well helps us to have the refinement of the self by being able to articulate upon things that may create a sense of deja vu, may create a little bit of that feeling of familiarity. But the ability to differentiate between something that occurs allows for like the fine tuning of the self that allows for that point of conversation. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, everything I keep on seeing to a certain degree right now, this is all of this an energy that is continuing to work through. These are the magician partnerships that are forming right now. The previous cycle was all in chariot energy. This is still very heavily embodying magician lessons. And what's beautiful about them is we're going to continue to talk about this. There's a desire to move into one's authenticity. That is a bit of an energetic blessing that's happening for these connections, but it's hard, right? This is like Band-Aid ripping moments. These are energetic connections that would like to move towards one another more quickly, but they're putting that caution to the wind, right? They're not putting they're slowing something down intentionally because the ability of not wanting to be hurt in the context of others being able to maintain consistency, working into the space of, again, and this is a gift of Saturn moving into Aries, allowing time to do the work to identify what feels energetically consistent. This is a lot of these new partnerships that are working in the space of identifying and recognizing the power of patience, doing that careful, gentle work to make sure that they're in alignment prior to hitting the races, prior to rushing forward. There's a lot of intentionality, particularly again, because a lot of the energy right now in separation is in these modalities of deep healing, potentially feeling and recovering from situations or circumstances where they may have recognized that they weren't in energetic alignment. And that's either from the work that they realized inside the self, having not come into a space of being open enough about who they were, or recognizing that space of potentially experiencing or healing from relationships where someone articulates that they love us, but it doesn't feel like they necessarily like us, right? Understanding that the potential we bring forth to relationships isn't the cultivation of partnership. It's not the ability to refine a partnership and be like, if you'd only do this, you would be perfect. Because when we're working on the self, like we understand that the flourishing of partnership isn't one that we're trying to change the counterpart. And we were seeing this because that force of change is the identifying factor. I'm not surprised to see these lessons happening right now with Gemini season. Like partnership is the space we go to change. But when we're in alignment, it feels like that change is a sense of wonder. It's the expansion point. It's a point of becoming where anything becomes possible and you're excited to kind of see that journey with one another. But when we're in unhealthy alignment, it can sometimes feel like we're changing in ways that we don't desire and aspire. And that's why I keep on seeing there's a lot of that unpacking that's happening right now, because I just keep on seeing that a lot of these relationships coming into being, it's like slow and steady, but it's slow and steady because there's a lot of healing that's coming through in that space. And I keep on even seeing that there's a lot of boundary setting, right? We had both the Seven of Wands in yesterday's reading. No, correction. The nine, as I'm saying it, the Nine of Wands, it like popped up on, I'm like looking at this, I'm like looking at the floor. I'm like, oh, there it is. The Nine of Wands. And we also had the Eight of Swords. These are cards that are conversations when seen together about boundary setting. But that ability too, like what happens when we're able to articulate boundaries. And I keep on seeing this for some of the energy in separation, the ability to say something and someone in a healed space being like, of course, right? Like that's second nature. Another person saying, well, there was an experience where it wasn't, right? Like having to unpack where the boundaries are formed. There's a lot of deep healing that's occurring in these spaces, but it's taking time. Now, this brings us to a lot of the energy that's coming into divine union right now. And everything I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this has been very heavily, it feels very Cancerian. It feels very high priestess for energy that's coming into divine union right now. And a lot of that is the familiarity of potentially recognizing the same force that may have moved one into a relationship being damaged, but instead being able to hold steady within it, right? Not projecting the trauma out into partnership. But when we do the work to recognize our own triggers and our own tendencies, heart to throat chakra, healing through it instead of reacting to it, this is the energetic point of stabilization that a lot of these counterparts are reaching. But it's difficult because what is the song that the energy coming into divine union is saying as they come into it and they're able to stabilize in it? They have a lot of work to do, because that ability of recognizing that when we're used to trauma and we find peace, the peace almost feels like it's an illusion. But when we're in that space that we're able to recognize, when we're able to be in the space where we can identify our own triggers and we don't bring them out into partnership, we allow for a deeper level of healing to occur. But that's not easy, right? This is why I keep on saying, if you're to ask these energies how they're doing, they'd say, how's the relationship? Great. How are you doing? Because they're seeing all of that trauma that they couldn't see before they entered the healthy connection, right? It's like they got their work cut out for them. Now, this brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now. A lot of the energy working deep within divine union right now. I got to just tell you, this is just to show you that things are not qualitatively, it's not like one area or space is better than worse than the other. I keep on seeing that a lot of the frustration that we may be experiencing with like all of the Aries, like too many things in Aries right now. There's just too many things in Aries and Gemini. The thing is, Aries and Gemini have like a very clear, like Aries and Gemini just don't have time for it. I just need to point out, like, Aries and Gemini are very quick to be able to discern, like, and I keep on seeing, and I want the best way I'm able to describe this is there's a misconception that those with Aries placements, and Gemini get this intuitively, because there's deeply a connection point between Gemini and Aries. Aries comes here to heal the relationship to time. This is why often we see so many of those with Aries placements are like clock obsessed. But that's what I actually feel, that the fact that Saturn has moved into Aries right now is actually going to be very cathartic. I feel like we're all going to like have like a Saturn return, as it were, because it's the identification point of the preciousness of time, right? And when we're and so everybody's like kind of looking at things like Aries would look at time. And the thing with time with Aries is they feel like time is a precious substance, right? And especially their patience. But what's beautiful about that is for those with Aries placements, it's not the fact that Aries aren't patient, but they understand that when you don't have a lot of patience, progress creates more patience. So it's that work of being able not to be too hard on the self, right? Identifying progress, working through the feeling of a between the difference between a rut and a groove, because sometimes a rut and a groove can feel very similar, right? We just talked about this. It's that feeling of being tired or frustrated, trying to like have an energetic breakthrough, either within the self or outside of the self, right? But what is the beauty of being in healthy counterpart connection? When we're going through that work, right? When we're doubting ourselves, when we're questioning ourselves, we have the gift of the healthy counterpart that helps us recognize the difference between the higher self or the ego, right? And working through that space of being able to look at counterpart and say, am I doing something wrong, right? Like building into that space of being able to find the energetic stable, like center, in terms of finding stabilization, or the refinement being like, well, you could do this a little bit better, right? Like that fine tuning. This is why it's such a gift when we heal the egoic wounds, when we come into connection, because that ability of receiving the critique, the refinement point. It's more of the conversation about the fact that change, we only move towards partnership to change. And when we're in that healthy connection, we look towards counterpart because it's not just the space that they see us, but often in moments that we doubt ourselves, we know that they hold that ideal of ourself within them, right? We carry our dreams inside of each other. And the gaze of the counterpart helps us find that alignment even when we're doubting it within our own journeys. And I feel like there's a lot of that healing there. There's a lot of that energetic empathy, but it's not easy. And it may be working through a lot of frustration. That is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. Now, if you would like to catch that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Substack. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list for today, you will be the first person read for 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a few minutes to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading, but let me know how you're feeling in this energy. I told you guys, it's going to look, it's going to ease up. It's going to ease up when Jupiter moves into Cancer. And that's not too far away. Okay, but it's not too far away. But you might like this. You might like this energy. I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. And thank you, Daniela, for joining us. Good to see you, Dwayne. Thank you, V. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Josh and Deep, thank you for subscribing, dear. I hope you're having a beautiful day as well. All right. And thank you as well. I hope you're having a beautiful afternoon, Gulzar. Hi there, Heather. Excellent. Haley, Grand Rising. Wow, you're a bombshell today. You look like you belong in a convertible. I'm just like, I don't mind the energy. But like I'm also like I'm a triple fire sign. So like I know it's not for everybody. It's like it can feel a lot like try me energy. You know what I mean? Adam, thank you so much for those gifts. And Fig, thank you as well. Hi there, Fig. I hope you're having a beautiful day as well. Allie, thank you so much for the follow. 1111 Fig, tap to claim. Isabella, thank you for the follow. Sabriana, I'm happy to read for you if you'd like to get on the list. The list is open. And thank you for those hearts, Allie. Grand Rising, Ryan. You have a beautiful day as well, Dwayne. And Michelle, thank you for the follow. Oh, hold on. My phone died back. Welcome back, dear. Michelle, you hit the nail on the head with the current energy. I know and here's the thing about it. Like, and I like to describe this, like it's going to be a bit of a grab bag in relationality to how you feel right now. for the, like, I can see some energy being like, this is exciting, right? Like it can create a lot of that feeling of excitability. But I need to point this out. If you carry excitement like as anxiety, it may feel more anxiety inducing. So if you're feeling like a little bit of that triggering right now with this feel like with this being expressing within the self as anxiety, I want you to move it into excitement. I want you building into those manifestation goals right now. I want you grounding any anxiety into excitement for the future, not just a lot of like, cause like I know like some of this, like it's the effervescence of the Gemini energy. It can express itself as a lot of anxiety. That was hilarious and accurate. You look like you're blonde. Thank you, V. Grand Rising, Nikki. So good to see you today. Freedom ain't free, but it sure feels good. I love that, Ryan. How do you get on the list? All you need to do to get on the list right now is head over. You can just go over to my the tree that has Binks in it in my bio, and you can send the donation there, and then you'll be added to the list. Also, first person on the list each day will always have an additional card in the reading as well. So that's up for grabs too. Thank you, Operation, for the follow. And CR, I just came in. I'm loving your vibes. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And thank you, Miss Nikki, for those gifts. Just a couple of updates before, and thank you, Nat, for the follow. Just a couple of updates before we move into today's reading. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who was part of our recent tarot class on the death card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Temperance card. I am so excited to teach this class. I love the Temperance card. It's one of my mentor's favorite cards. I've gone through a lot. It's an absolutely beautiful card. We're going to be talking about the symbology of the card. We are going to be talking about the history of the card. I'm going to be working you guys through spread applications, so how you can interpret that card in any direction it may appear in your own readings. I'm also going to be giving you guys a special spread that you can take out of that class with you to help channel the messages of the Temperance card into your own readings. And all you need to do, if you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, is head on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be giving you guys a recap on everything that we've studied prior to beginning that next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we are studying or have studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also have access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. That is access to over 14 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You will also have access to the option of receiving a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, head over there and follow me. It's not necessary because we also post each day's podcast there, which will let you know, which will also show you each day's spread. So you'll be able to see the cards that we're pulling each day. You'll also have access to my Mystic Meditation articles, which give you insights in terms of how to utilize the energy that we're experiencing in the best way possible. For instance, I just did an article over on Mystic Meditations talking about how to utilize this recent new moon in Gemini energy most effectively. or how to ground it. You'll also, and I also be up to, you'll also have access to my weekly newsletter, which will let you know about my in-person events, as well as my online live schedule. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your own journey on a budget. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these per dream or as a series. I would stress, if you purchase the series, thank you, Bridget, make sure that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list is open. You'll be the second person read for today. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first giveaway is I will be gifting a reading to the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. We'll also be doing a giveaway when we get to 50K likes. Guys, we're already at 6.8, so thank you for tapping that screen. Also, when you tap the screen, it pushes this out to those who have not received these messages before. So thank you so much in doing your part to help us share these messages. I'm going to take a few minutes to read over some of the comments that came through as I was giving those recaps, but as I mentioned, the list is open. Kirby, thank you for sharing the live, dear. And thank you so much, Metcalf, for the follow. Grand Rising, Kirby, how you doing today? Hi there, thank you, Operation for you, Mom. I like that. Welcome, Miss Nikki. Thank you, dear. And thank you, Lolo, for the hearts. Grand Rising, Addison, how are you doing right now? Are you enjoying this energy? Grand Rising, Bridget, how are you doing, dear? Thank you for sharing the live, and thank you for that beautiful wreath. I got you, Allie. You're the first person on the list for today. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. Thank you for getting first on the list. And Kay, so good to see you as well, dear. Thank you as well. I've got you. Fig, oh, Anji, I had a dream last night that I was using the bathroom sitting, and there was a man also sitting like on you. Listen, I'm telling you even now, listen, I just got to tell you guys with the dreams right now, they're going to be weird. They're going to be weird. We are going through a Pluto retrograde. The Pluto retrograde is not over until like October 13th. So I keep on describing the dreams that you're probably going to have right now are like dreams that should be scary, but they're not. Like it's giving haunted house in the summer kind of vibes. It's like, okay, yes, I'm very terrified. Oh yes, boo. Like it's like, yeah, okay, I'm very scared right now. Like, okay, ooh, a skeleton. Like it's a lot like that. I will point out we do dream interpretations here. If you would like to have a dream interpreted, or if you have information that you'd like to share with me for a reading, you can include it in the notes when you send for the reading. Or if you are a subscriber, hi subscribers, you can post it in our subscriber only Discord channel, and I'll read it directly from there when we do your reading. And thank you for confirmation, Seventh Harmony. I had a dream I was in my old house, but the new owner didn't know. Ooh. Again, I love doing dream interpretation. So if you guys want to get on a list for these, you can go ahead and do so. Just put the full dream in the notes. Either put it in the notes when you send the reading, or if you're a subscriber, head over to our Discord channel. Post it over there in the allocated channels. It was like oh my God. Yeah. 2 toilets facing each other. But again, I'm telling you, it's Pluto in its reversal. I like to describe Pluto in its reversal is like lifting the rock and seeing all of the things that like scatter when you do so, right? Like that's the thing with Pluto in its reverse. It's like it's being able to confront something and it's not as big a deal as you like. It's more like it's not doesn't horrify you. You're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it's like that. It's like that. It's, is the best way I can describe it. That's all I remember, and you just brought it back. That's enough to do a reading on. I also like to point out the nice thing with doing tarot readings is we sometimes can fill in the blanks in terms of what you recall versus what the dream was about. It was weird. I can get it. I see it. All right, friends. As I mentioned, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. As I mentioned, and guys, please thank our mod, Kay Megan, for being here today. Thank you for all of your help today, Kay. It's okay if you can't stay today. You could absolutely have one card before you go. I'd be happy to honor that. It's only 10:30 a.m. Hold on a minute. And I'm about to leave the country with my clothes on my back. Just wait until Gemini season's over. I gotta stress this right now. Do I have to be the person to say this? Nobody do anything drastic when we've got so much of this Gemini energy ping-balling around. No like spontaneous haircuts or anything. Okay, because I gotta tell you, and I gotta just point this out. All right, so you remember how I said, a couple of days ago, even though we didn't have a Mercury retrograde, it could have felt very Mercury retrograde-y because because all like the sometimes we don't like it's like it's giving me a lot of like you put it together and you get the same thing kind of energy. So a few days ago we had this situation where we had Gemini and Taurus with Saturn transiting into Aries, which is the closest approximation to what could create the factors that is similar to a Mercury retrograde without actually having a Mercury retrograde, which is things like technology slowing down because Mercury has to walk through the halls of Taurus. It can't run. And at the same time, the memories, the past, like coming into Aries could be like, this feels like a Mercury retrograde in here. And now all of this Gemini energy, it can feel it's similar to an eclipse. It's not an eclipse, but the heightened state that it can create, that excitement state can feel similar to an eclipse right now because it's a lot of the best way I can describe it, it's like a lot of vibrating energy, right? So it's a lot of vibration that can often feel similar to like that feeling of expansion that we sometimes have when there's an eclipse. So it's interesting because it's like I keep on hearing like a lot of like the thing with like Gemini is like it's like next best thing, right? Like which is like we had like the next best thing to a Mercury retrograde is when you've got like Mercury and Taurus and Saturn going into Aries, and then like the next best thing to like an eclipse is when you have like a ridiculous amount of energy in Gemini. Like it's like it's close enough. It's close enough. It may as well be the same thing, right? It's a little bit, but I also like that because it feels it again, even in that space, it's like working with what you got. It's like make it work kind of energy, right? It's like make it work. It's just MacGyver. It's like it's MacGyver energy, you know? Dun, 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 dun. It's like that. All right. I know the planets never cut it out. That's the thing. I'm just going to take a minute to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Okay, I've got you, Kay. I love that. It's only 10:30 a.m. about to leave the country. That's a weird one for sure. I'd wake up like, yep, you're so welcome, Kay. I was wondering what was the reaction. Okay. You know, I feel like they recognize the fact that you've matured out of something. You know, I hear them saying like I can see somebody like respecting it, like understanding it, you know? Yeah. You know, I feel like it almost like it's weird. I almost feel like somebody's saying thank you to a certain extent, you know? Because I keep on seeing like, you know, it's giving me a little bit of this protect me from what I want kind of energy, which is difficult because I keep on seeing like I think it's just it feels like respective of the fact that like in some way shape or form I feel like somebody's putting you in a situation where it kind of forces you to have to be the mature one. You know what I mean? I hope that helps, Kane. Thank you so much for, again, all your help moderating. Lolo, thanks for saying that. I had some impulsive ideas yesterday. I was crashing out. No, 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 no. I don't want any, like, listen, here's what I'm going to say. And this is why, if you're feeling like that right now, like, and here's the thing, I want you to think about spontaneity right now, the same way that you would think about spontaneity during an eclipse. Spontaneity is not a bad thing, so long as it's focusing on pushing you towards a manifestation goal, right? Like like spontaneous is not bad, but as long as it's not the feeling of changing for changes, as long as it's not like something that feels like it moves you off path right now, is what I keep on seeing. So be intentional with what you're being spontaneous about, if that makes sense. Which is, if you're feeling that like moment to like push something forward that you've had on your, like, had in your head for a while, this is a good energy for that. But what you want to avoid is, like, the wild hair of an idea that sets you off course. Okay. Like, so just be mindful of that to a certain extent, because I kept on telling you, and I'm not surprised to see this, one of the things, like when we were working through Taurus lessons, what were we working through with Taurus lessons? The difference between stubbornness and tenacity, right? What are we going to be working through right now with Gemini energy? The difference between pragmatism and fickleness. And what's pragmatism? Pragmatism is focusing on an energetic outcome, working towards a manifestation, and being able to be adaptable in the context of how one moves towards a manifestation. Fickle is changing for change's sake, right? It's just, it's a lot of that. Like it's like, and often when we're fickle, it's because we can't handle frustration, right? So I keep on seeing, make sure that you're like, if you're working in that space of being adaptable, it's like, I keep on seeing like the difference between the frustration that allows for a breakthrough versus working working through that aversion of something that can sometimes create a little bit of that fractiousness. I know it's not, and it's going to frustrate you right now. There's way too many planets in Aries. Okay. It's not that you're not going to be frustrated, but it's letting it kind of focus and center you, even with all this Gemini energy. Thank you for confirmation, Kay. And thank you, Tiptastic, for the follow. That's interesting. I said, yep, it was the right thing to do. Sending you so much support, dear. I know that was not easy. I've been so drained, no energy for anything. It can be exhaustive right now, Fig. The thing about it, I'm even telling you, like, that that new moon was no joke, right? I was like, this is what I meant about making sure that you were grounded through it, because it can feel like it can feel like a lot. I feel like we're still going over a little bit of that, like, new moon hangover, if you will, right? Setting the course, like finding that consistency. Like, I feel like the consistency after intensification, as it were. Um, oh, okay. You're so welcome. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I see someone, like I see someone in a very pensive state, if that makes sense. Thank you, Lolo. You're so welcome. And Indigo, thank you for the follow. All right. I rarely, if ever, feel burnout, but I am right now. Exactly. It's a lot of Gemini energy. It's a lot. It's a lot. Um, but that's not a negative thing. But here's the thing, and that's why I said, like, working on manifestation goals right now, building into plans, being productive, it's going to help, right? But that's why I was telling you guys, like, prior to coming into the season, make sure that you have your manifestations like in check, because it's going to help you through any of the frustration that may occur during some of this energy. It's going to be great for those with Gemini placements. I feel like for those with Gemini placements right now, and I got to tell you, I was feeling very bad for Pisces during their season. We've talked about this because there were too many planets exiting the house of Pisces during their season. Can bring up a lot of abandonment wounds, right? I was really concerned for those with Taurus placements going through their season. Why? Too many planets in Aries. When there's too many planets in Aries next to Taurus, it's like red flags everywhere. But Gemini, like Gemini, this is like, I can see Gemini being like, nice. I see Gemini being like, this is nice. I feel like I got a lot on my plate, right? It's like, and I feel like that's the way to describe it. It's like, how do you feel when I say the words, I've got a lot on my plate? Do you say yippee or do you go, ah, like, ah? It's like that. Aries has been on one lately. No, I get it, Lolo. But I would not be surprised if those with Aries placements are also feeling like this a little bit too. Because it feels like, I feel like with Aries placements right now, it's like, it's a little bit of like, try me. It's a little bit of like, try me. It's like, because here's the thing I like to point out, Aries, like Aries are constantly always like holding themselves back. Okay, you understand? Like the gift of the universe that Aries brings forth in saying like, in every day they make the choice to bring peace to this world. Okay, like every day the Aries works up and says, I am going to do my best today. Help me out. And so when they have those moments, like when in Aries, there's nothing more like when like, and that's the thing, like that's what we don't understand with those with Aries placements, which is like when an Aries says try me, it's like an Aries that goes, like an Aries saying try me is an Aries that goes yippee, because the Aries is like finally, and if you hear that you should run. You should run. Because Aries is like, oh good. Like, they start limbering up, you know, like it's just like, oh, I'll get wrestle. I can wrestle. I said I try not to wrestle. I didn't say I don't. It's a lot of that type of energy, and those with Aries placements get it, right? Like Aries know like the trophy they hear when they have a try me situation. Like it's, you know, but I actually, so I feel like for Aries right now, yeah, exactly. Like it's like, and that's the thing with Gemini. Like that's why Gemini and Aries like get along, and that's why like again Gemini and Aries together is like watch out, because like Aries, you know, and I like to point this out. Like how does an Aries stay? So how like the Aries is always like, don't give me a reason. Like don't give me a reason. like like, and that's the thing with Aries. Aries is always going, nope, nope, right? And so when Aries feels like I told you, Aries is like the bully. Like Aries is the bully's bully. Like Aries is that moment where it's like when Aries is like, oh, okay, like you know, like it's one of those things. So we see even now, like a lot of that energy, it may feel like it's crackly. Like that's the best. Like I feel like for Aries right now, it could be feeling a lot of that like crackling energy. So I'm going to say to all the Aries here, behave, behave, behave. Okay, behave. And I'm going to say it like this. All right, I'm going to say this is what I'm going to say to any Aries energy that's experiencing this right now. If it's a good idea now, if it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. If it's a good idea now, and don't, I know if you're already shaking your head, I know if it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. Okay, you're welcome. You will thank me. You will thank me. Okay. And if it's a good idea in 5 minutes, it'll be a good idea in 5 hours. Okay. You know what I mean, Aries. All right. You are welcome to use that for your kids' operation. It's very important right now. All right, just taking a moment to read over the comments. Grand Rising Joy, so good to see you today. You have a wonderful day, Kay. And again, I'm sent. Thank you for your help, and I hope you have a good one. Yes, that makes so much sense. I've been exhausted as well. It's been months for me. Listen, and I think it's gonna, you know, here's the thing. We're finally pushing out of the Pisces. Like we've had a lot of energy yo-yoing back and forth in Pisces or Aries. So this, like Saturn was like the final push. So it could like, I feel like it could create a little bit more energy, but you got to be patient with yourself. I'm a Pisces. It's too true. It was a rough March. No, I get it. I might like honestly, like I was just looking at the sign work during like Pisces season, and I was just like, oh geez, Louise. And it was even worse because you have to understand it's not just the fact that the energy left, but then we had the retrograde that pushed the planets back into Pisces. So it's like the going away, coming back. I just forgot something. I just needed to get this. And then going back away again, like the abandonment wound of something like going back and forth like that, you know? Aries has been on one lately. But yeah, I mean, like this is like here's the thing with Aries though, this energy right now, intimacy wounds, right? What has Pisces been saying? Come back. What is Aries saying? Get out. Like Aries, there's too many planets in Aries. So it's difficult because for a lot of those with Aries placements right now, working through intimacy wounds, having to be vulnerable in ways that you haven't like you haven't been vulnerable before. And here's the thing with Aries placements, like you want to watch an Aries squirm? Watch all the Aries come up to the screen. Tell me about your feelings. Well, no, I know you've got them. Let's talk about them. Nope, like this is what all like, this is the Aries being like, get away from like just no. I'm so ready for a nap. Oh, make sure you're resting right now. Make sure you're hydrating. Your Gemini moon and sun, Sag riding. Well, Indy, we've got like here's the thing about it. We've got we're gonna have I'm a little distressed. We're gonna have a Sag full moon in Gemini season. We're gonna have a Sag full moon in Gemini season. Oh boy, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Grand rising joy. Aries rising. Yep. Try me. So true. Me, Ella. It's Aries sun. Nope. They get it. All the Aries gets it. I'm a Taurus sun with Aries rising, Mars and Saturn, Gemini, Venus. Yeah, this is probably a lot for you right now. 5 5. This is like very much. This is like your sign work astrologically. So this could be like the Aries, yeah, exactly, Alan. The Aries in me wants to play. Exactly. It's like that's why when Aries here try me, it's like, oh no. Thank you, Ella. Yep, the Ella, yep, cracking our knuckles. I have a lot of reasons exactly, Alan. And Alex, thank you for those hearts. V, thank you for the stars. I'm an Aries and I'm a bully. That's the thing with Aries, because you have to understand, like, this is why Aries can't stand bullies. Because Aries often have to, like, the first thing they have to do is they realize how strong they are. Aries is always working in terms of not accidentally hurting others with their strength. So there's nothing worse to an Aries when there's nothing worse that an Aries hates than a bully, because they see someone who not only do they know is not as strong as them, but is trying to take the not as strong as them and lord it over someone else. That's why Aries are like, oh, oh dear. Oh, look what I have found. Oh, look what I have found. I have found a bully. Whatever will I do with this bully? What divine providence has brought this bully before me today? I am going to make someone's day. Aries can feel the sleepy Gemini. I want to nap, but if Aries came in, I'd be game on. And that's the thing with Gemini. Like Gemini go back and forth, but that's why when an Aries and Gemini are friends, that's like a crime waiting to happen. Because Aries is like, because Aries is like, let's do it. And Gemini is the I got an idea. And Aries is like, let's do it, right? Thanks, Lolo. I'll try to behave. Why what, Alan? My Gemini moon. Oh, you mean why right now? Because the thing is, with like the Aries right now, is like I'm gonna say, if it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes, because we've got a little bit of this eclipse energy can sometimes create for Aries, like in the moment, nothing felt sweeter. But it's not about whether something would feel sweet, it's whether it feels like it's moving towards your intention. Okay. All right. I like bookcase. No, 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 no. Where were we? Hold on a minute. My Gemini moon, Aries rising, and Virgo sun are always fighting each other. Oh yeah, like that's like crowded house energy. That's like the kids are fighting energy. Your Virgo sun is like doing the heavy lifting, like get it together. What equates you see that in itself, Alan, you know, like don't look at me as an Aries and be like, what equates a bad idea? For Gemini, like I'm saying right now, Indy, I feel like it's just feeling very activated. This is a lot. This is a lot of energy in Gemini right now. So just like I feel like making sure that you're productive with it, moving towards manifestation goals, not changing for the sake of change. Remember, change is not a manifestation goal, Gemini. Changing for change's sake. Don't be changing for change's sake right now. Work on being pragmatic, not being fickle, because I'm going to see even now, like that, like a little bit of this energy. Okay. My youngest is an Aries rising, and he's scary. No, he's not. He's not. As long as you don't give him a reason, Operation Mom. Like, listen, you got an Aries rising. Just don't give him a reason. Don't give him a reason. Indy, it feels like I've been unstable and confusing in relationship. My mom's a Pisces, my sister's an Aries. Well, and I want to say, like, make sure you're slowing down what you're doing so others understand the logic behind it. Because the thing with Gemini is sometimes Geminis are moving so quickly that it can feel erratic to those around them. So make sure that you're articulating, like I know that you might be frustrated when I say, but try to slow something down. Especially, I mean, the Aries might get it, but the Pisces, like, you know, and that's the thing about it. Like the thing with a Pisces around a Gemini and an Aries, Gemini and Aries are often like, it's not about feelings. And Pisces are like, no, it's all about feelings. So make sure that you're honoring what others are prioritizing might help with some of those connections right now. My niece is an Aries and she's only 2 months old. I'm scared. No, Aries is beautiful. Aries is absolutely beautiful energy. But the thing with Aries is, like I like to point out, and we talk a lot about this in my tarot church classes, the signs are all on journeys, right? And for a lot of Aries, it's sometimes coming into the space of feeling like rebel without a cause, right? And then those with Aries placements have that moment where they recognize when, if it feels like the world's out against them, it's not that the world's against them. It's like, is the world against you, or are you against the world, right? So being able to start to work on vulnerability, right? Starting to work into the space of being able to heal intimacy wounds is often how Aries comes into warrior lessons. But it's not easy, right? Because it requires the Aries to start becoming comfortable with being able to move into vulnerability. So it's a beautiful sign work. But the thing with Aries is, like, Aries get very, like, when Aries are protectors, right? If they feel like there's something that needs protecting, they're going to step forward and do so. Hi there, Martina. Aries Sun, Scorpio rising, Gemini Venus, Taurus Moon. Yeah, I mean, you probably get very much what I'm saying right now, right? Because a lot of that is potentially, it's working through, I feel like a lot of that sign work is working through difficult feelings and putting it in practical spaces. Bridget, I'm so exhausted. I'm currently trying to get sleep study referral. Oh, sending you support on that journey, Bridget. Yeah, and I know, like, listen, sleep right now is probably not great because there's too many things in Aries right now. And Aries, it's hard to stay down, right? So if you're feeling like that, like, it might be hard to, like, stay asleep. This is probably why. Hopefully when we move out of Aries, it'll get a little bit better. I'm a Pisces with an Aries stellium. But that's not, I mean, like, here's the thing. I think like Pisces with Aries stellium can be helpful, because I feel like, especially for, like, that's a lot of that, like, the transition point between Pisces and Aries is taking emotions and moving them into spaces that feel like they're productive, right? So you're probably very good at doing that, like, internal alchemy, Jadu. And if I'm ever saying your name incorrectly, by all means, feel free to correct me. Oh, good luck for the whole family. love it, Operation V. I don't want to tell you about my exactly. No, I know. When I like you want to like scare, you want to scare an Aries. Just put them in a room and be like, so we're going to talk about your feelings. We're going to talk about your. You see, look at all the Aries. Right? Stop. Oh, media. No, no, look, no. Is it there? Is it though? You're convincing yourself. It's gonna be. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, JX. I'm just following along with mopping my walls. Excellent, Ducky. So good to see you, dear. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Have a wonderful day, Stormy. And thank you for the follow, dear. I love your username. Last week was hard. Odd amount of energy today. It's not odd, Ducky. It's all of the it's all the energy in Gemini. I mean, it'll get a little bit easier like once Jupiter transits out of Gemini, but I was kind of trying to tell you guys this was going to happen when Mercury was going. I was like, we're gonna like it's gonna feel a little eclipsey right now. You know, like the last week we had the next best thing to Mercury retrograde, and now we've got like the best thing to an eclipse. It's gonna be fine. Hold on a moment. 1 second. Last week, yep. I'm happy to read for you on that, Dana. If you'd like to get on the list is open. You'll be the second person read for today. And thank you, Jadu, for the follow. Pisces, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, friends. I mean, but and here's the thing. Like, I know the thing. I think with like, I mean, I think you're saying that you're like, I like Pisces and Scorpio because, you know, the thing with the difficulty point between Pisces and Aries, and it's hard, right? Because they're so close to each other. But we see this with the sign work that's next to one another. Is, you know, when you're having conversations about your feelings, make sure that you're bringing the prescription with you to the Aries. Because sometimes when Aries hear another person talking about their feelings, they sometimes can feel attacked by them. And I know that's weird, but the reason is because Aries don't talk about their feelings. They don't talk. So they feel like sometimes the problem with Aries is when others are trying to just talk about their feelings, Aries sometimes feel like someone's lodging a complaint, right? They think that they're like, do you want me to do something about that? So being able to like say to someone like, look, I want to unpack. Can I unpack something with you? Like, make sure you're getting consent, because sometimes I know this is weird, but sometimes another person talking about their feelings around an Aries can be very triggering, because Aries sometimes feel like that desire to do something. So being able to say to someone like, look, I'm not asking anything to not be done. I want to be in a space of being able to walk something through, right? Like that can sometimes ease those conversations. Oh, the aperitif. Yes, I have. It's got like a lot of saffron in it, I believe, Lena. It's delicious. It's a digestivo, right? It's, you know, I mean, digestivos are just nice in themselves. I know the energy, but here's the thing, Anna. It's either it can feel anxiety inducing, or it can feel very exciting. So if you're feeling this in the way that it feels like it's excitability, I want you grounding it. I want you moving into productive spaces. Oh, you're an Aries rising. And again, for those with Aries placements right now, I'm going to say the same thing. If it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. Okay. It'll be a good idea. It'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. If it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. If it's a good idea in 5 minutes, it'll be a good idea in 5 hours. Like, make sure you're being intentional. Hi there, Michelle. Love Pisces rising. I mean, like a lot of that, I feel like, you know, having like a lot of, I feel like Pisces rising is beautiful because it's like you bring emotion to anything that you do, right? It's like the emotional power of something. And Siobhan, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. You're so welcome, Ms. Indy. Leo man, Scorpio woman. Woo! That's shiny. Like all eyes in the room. Leo man, Scorpio woman. Like that is like everybody gets whiplash when you walk in a room together. Oh my God, I'm going to be doing an in-person sleep study. Oh, thank you guys. Oh wow. I mean, again, I'm telling you, it's this energy right now is making it hard to sleep. And send you guys support on that. I'm Aries Sun with Pisces rising. Yeah, and that's what I keep on, like, the thing is, like, Aries into Pisces, like, it's nice. Like, I actually think Pisces rising is helpful to those with Aries placements because it makes you more comfortable with navigating others' feelings. I complain to my therapist all the time. I don't want to talk about my feelings. I mean, that's what Aries do. Aries are like, okay, look, I'm just here. Can you just fix me? Like, just can you just fix me and we'll just get this over with? No, I don't know. I don't. Why am I don't want to talk about anything. Just fix it. What do I have to do? Right? Like that's what Aries walk in to the therapist's office. Go. What do I have to do? How does this work? Right? What Namita, hi there. Pisces Sun, Cancer Moon, Aries rising. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, that's therapist energy right there. That's like, let's just like, let's talk about it. Like, let's bring it out, you know? No, nothing. You can't make me uncomfortable. There's nothing you can say to me that will make me uncomfortable. Hi there, Ella. Operation, talking about my feelings is all I want to do. Yeah, Cancer, Sun, Pisces, Moon. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yep, that makes sense. Grand Rising, little vamp. So good to see you. All right. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Where were we? Nice meeting you, Alicia. Hi there, Channeling Tarot. How are you doing today? Mary, thank you so much for the follow. And please see customer service. Yes. Hold on a minute. This is fine. Exactly. You're in therapy even if you don't want to talk. I give you kudos. Exactly. That's true. That's true. Pisces, Cap, Gem with Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces. I mean, it's complicated. A lot of complicated feelings on a lot of different things. You probably have I feel like you probably have a lot of repetitions on themes that come into your life. Something similar but different is what I'm seeing. Trying is doing, and that's half the battle. Tap to claim. I must have two more. I must have more Taurus than Aries because feels don't bother me. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's interesting too because if you have sign work that'll help you ground some of the Aries, like avoidance of the emotional space of the feelings, it can help to balance it out, right? Like it's a navigating of the cringe. It's like navigating the cringe. How well do you navigate the cringe? Yes, I felt the difficulty all my life with Aries. Yeah, I can see that because, and that's the thing, especially Namita with your sign work. Often the signs that are closest to us can be the most challenging relationships, right? Like you're so close, but you're so far. Okay. And Alicia, thank you so much for the follow. All right. My mom is an Aries and she shuts down. And this can sometimes be difficult, particularly and especially for those that are going through things of that in that nature. As a wounded Aries moon, yes, everything feels like an attack. And this is like that's the thing but I need to point this out, Haley, and I think that this is really important that you're bringing up, right? The fact that you're articulating about the fact that you described, like the fact that you've said everything feels like an attack is the ability to recognize one's own meaning in relationality to what's occurring. Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line. Exactly. My big three are in Cancer and Mercury. Wow. All of your big three are in Cancer? That's wild, Alicia. Do you have any? Yeah, that was what I was asking too, V. Okay. All right. And thank you so much, Mary, for the follow. Grand Rising channeling. Good to see you. Nice meeting you as well, Alicia. Yeah, I feel like I can be impulsive sometimes. I mean, we all have those tendencies for impulsivity. the thing that we have to be conscientious about right now, and that's what I'm kind of saying, is like like working through some of that impulsivity right now, like identifying and recognizing like what it takes to be able to do that work, like working into that space of being energetically productive, like giving something like a moment or giving it a beat, because there's something about this energy, like it's very eclipse, which is very easy to feel energetically triggered or potentially seeing the wrong meaning in things. Just giving something a moment to be able to recognize and identify like the difference between the volatility versus the intentionality. Hi there, Sophia. Leo man, Sag woman. I like a Leo Sag combo too, as long as they're healed, right? The only thing to worry about with like Leo Sag energy is making sure that you're not in anything that feels like it's energetically competitive. Is what I keep on seeing. Or at least it's like feeling like a healthy sense of competitiveness. There you go. Pisces placements are so good at honoring their feelings. They can be, right? Because we understand, like, again, like a lot of having heavy Pisces placements allow us to understand with empathy how others feel about things. Hi there, Maggie. I'm a Scorpio, Leo rising, Scorp cusp. My last ex was a Leo. And again, it's interesting. Leo rising with Leos can sometimes work, like it can sometimes be difficult, right? Especially because as it relates to the perception of the self. I'm a Pisces and my partner is a Capricorn, but that I like. I like Pisces Cap partnership because Pisces can leave room to help the Cap work through the fact that their feelings are valid. And Cap can help Pisces find productive spaces for their feelings. I like Gemini and Scorpio too, because it's always going to be interesting. A triple Aries, I mean, I would be very surprised if they're not doing something around like public service or defending others, because it's just pure warrior energy. Fix me. Why would I talk about it exactly? I'm a Pisces sun, Taurus, Cancer rising, so a lot of stubbornness and water. Yeah, but that's beautiful because you're like a moon bull, you know? Like you're probably you work a lot, like you probably do a lot of work in terms of reflecting on the emotions. All right. Cap, sun, and moon, Leo rising. I like that too, because that's like not only doing something, but doing it with like pizzazz. All right. And how they affect. Hold on a minute. Good afternoon, Catherine. Sophia, thank you so much for the follow, dear. I lost my spot. And Zell, thank you for the follow as well. Hi there, Goddess Bella. How are you doing today? I'm Pisces sun. Yep. I'm sun, moon, rising, and Mercury. Nice meeting you. Oh, I see it. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of fish, Alicia. That's like the whole ocean. You're an aquarium. Crow, thank you for the follow. A therapist all my life to strangers too. No, I can see why. Like you probably, if somebody sits down with you and the next thing they know, they're like, what did you do? Like, I have a Cancer sun, Pisces moon, Taurus rising. That's the same. Like you're just like I'll make them crack kind of energy. Pisces, Scorpio moon, oh, I like Pisces with a Scorpio moon, Aries rising can be a little complicated. Feel the feelings behind the feelings. Like what are the feelings trying to hide kind of energy? Hi there, Goddess. Thank you for the follow. As an Aries sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, who is dating a Pisces? Yes, for both. For both, I would say Marshmallow. I get it, right? Like not just being quick. Thank you. And Sag Sun, Cancer Moon, Leo rising, definitely a wild ride. No, I like that though. Because like again, like you got Sag Sun, Leo rising. The Cancer Moon's doing the heavy lifting there and chilling things out. Currently out of order. I love that, Michelle. And thank you for the follow, Marshmallow. Zell, thank you for the follow. What are your thoughts on being a Pisces with a Capricorn moon? You know, here's the thing. We've got a lot of Capricorn moon signs in this collective. Capricorn moons often have gone through like a lot of heavy trauma. Like it's almost like I like to point out often Capricorn moon can almost feel like forced Chiron, which is like that space of feeling like no one will ever understand what I had to go through. right? But I keep on hearing like the nice thing with like the Pisces there is recognizing that says everybody has a journey like that, right? Like we all have those, like we all have those arrows that we carry, but it's not about what we've experienced, it's how we choose, like how we choose to move from it. It's been really heavy right now in a lot of the collective reads, Jodo. I do, yeah. So here's the thing with tarot, goddess. For my subscribers, I do free one card readings. The tarot, we don't put our autonomy in the cards whenever you're getting a reading with me. So if you're coming to me to make a decision, I'm never going to let you do a yes no where you're giving your autonomy to the cards. But if you need affirmation in relationality to something going on, following your intuition, we can read the energy in that way, utilizing the deck. So in that way, there is a way that you can get like yes or no from the cards themselves, but not in the space of making decisions for you. I hope that helps. Hi there, Charter. Pisces, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Aries, Rising. You're like, we are going on an adventure. We are going. I have a proposition for you. I want to paint you a picture. That's what I see. You got it. You got it. You got it. What do you need help with? Gemini raising and raising and husband Scorpio. Gemini rising and husband Scorpio rising. But Gemini rising and Scorpio rising like each other because you always make it interesting. Sag Sun, Cancer Moon, Leo rising. It's definitely, yep. And thank you again for the follow, Sophia. I feel, no, I can see, of course, like you got the, of course, you're an Aquarian. Of course you're feeling deeply, right? Like I understand that. Like it's almost like that space of like the empathy that you feel for others can sometimes feel overwhelming. I get it. I have a Cancer stellium and I felt that my whole life. Thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. Hi there, invite. Grand afternoon, Catherine. How they affect my perspective. Absolutely. And thank you for becoming a member of my team. Sophia, oh my God, that's such a good descriptor of Leos and Sagittarius together. Yeah, again, healthy competition, but only healthy. Like only healthy. Like they'll be like, it's not a competition, but I'm winning. But I'm winning. It's not a competition, but I'm winning. Scorpio man, Gemini woman. Again, that's like a crime novel. It's like a detective story, you know? It's like, don't be suspicious. Aquarius sun. Hold on a minute. Aquarius sun, Leo moon, Cancer rising. Everything else is Capricorn. Oh, I would be very, you're like a connoisseur. That's a connoisseur. That's the one I got very specific taste and I'm okay with it. Nobody, nope, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So it's all right. I'm a specialty, right? You're so welcome to meet up. Blessings to you as well, dear. Thank you, Jada. Right back at you. Sag sun, Leo moon, Pisces rising. Leo moons can be tricky too, right? Especially with the Sag sun. Because Sages like are always accidentally making a spectacle of themselves. And like the Leo moon's like, can't take you anywhere. I always like to point out the bull in the china shop of the zodiacs is not a Taurus. A Taurus would never. Like, how could you even say that? A Taurus would never. That was a Sag. That was a Sag. Okay, that was a Sag. Sages are like, ta-da! Oh, to subscribe, dear, you just hit that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen and you become a subscriber. Also, when you become a subscriber, you also gain entry into our subscriber only Discord channel. You also get a discount on the full readings. Pisces woman, Libra man. I like that too, right? It can be very like it's very like peace, love kind of energy. Like we just love love. We just love love. We saw you across the, we saw you on the other side of the bar. We just love love. Cancer stellium. Cancer stellium can be hard because Cancer stellium, it can sometimes like it's very dreamy, but it's remembering like the world is not the place where dreams come to be unalived. It's where everything is possible. Thank you, Ella. And thank you, Lolo, for sharing the live. Cancer sun, Pisces moon, Scorpio rising. How can we change this feeling into something better? How can we change like that's like, let's change the vibe. Like, let's change it. We can do it. We can do it. We can change the vibe. Hi there, invitation. How do I figure out my birth chart if I don't know what time I was born? Oh, I think that I don't know if you can. I think you can get an approximation, but I think without the exact time, there's always going to be a little bit of uncertainty in terms of it because you need to know exactly the time to figure out where the planets were, right? Um, so it's kind of like you can still do a lot of the chart work. Just you might have a couple spaces missing, but you can probably do an approximation. Again, that would actually be a better question for an astrologer. I'd like to point out I am not an astrologer. I study the astrology to understand the energy that I'm reading into. That was definitely me when I was younger. Thank you for confirmation, Infinity. I feel like I was just rising. I feel like just the rising would be affected. I think so too. Like I think you can get majority of the chart just without like again I'm out of my element here. Like that's definitely a question that I would bring forth to like someone who's specifically an astrologer. I follow a woman who does astrology, and she said you can get close. Okay, so that's very similar to what I was saying. Thank you for the compliment, G. Rising is how we get things done, like how we show up, like the way we apply ourselves, as it were. Otherwise, you have to try minute by minute for the whole day. That's fair, Lolo. All right, friends. Just a reminder, we're going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. If you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. You will be the second person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Malayo. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. We do dream interpretation here, past life readings, highest party messages from spirit, angelic guidance, pet readings, animal spirit guide readings, love readings, life path readings. You can see the full list that we offer over on my tree that has Binks in it in my Lio when you go to send the donation. And if you get on and we're also doing 2 different contests today. The first contest is we will be doing a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes. So make sure you're tapping the screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. The other giveaway we're doing is we are doing a free reading for whoever gives the highest gift between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So if you're participating in that, I wish you a lot of luck in winning that contest as well. That said, if you guys can do me a favor and share this live, I would appreciate it. Make sure anyone who would like to catch this reading live is here to receive it. And Ginger, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Thank you so much for the follow, G. You're so welcome, JX. Otherwise, you have to try it. Yep. In the IS in your birth time should be your birth certificate if you have access to it in US. Yeah, I think that's the issue. They're saying that they don't have they don't have access to that information. I feel like this is a cruel joke from the universe because it would be too easy with a birth chart. Oh dear, don't you know? But again, you can get very close. You know how we get things done. I've never heard it put that way, but it makes so much sense. Yeah, it's like you know, like it's. I like to think about it. You know, like the moon is the unconscious. The sun is how we project to others. Rising is like how we actually tackle things. Past life would be so cool. Yes. And what I'll also do, for instance, and again, if you have information you would like to share with me for the reading, for instance, if you have a dream that you would like interpreted, or if you have a past life regression that you would like more information on, you can include that information in the notes when you send the donation, or you can also post it if you are a subscriber in our subscriber only Discord channel. And I'll read it from there when we do the reading. I'll also point out if you want to give me information that is just between you and I as I do the reading, you can tell me if it's inside tea or outside tea, and I'll respect that. Andrell, thank you so much for those hearts. All right. But I do get messages from the other side. I just feel like I shouldn't engage with it. Hold on a minute. Until I get better. I'm not sure if there was a first part of that message channeling. And again, I will point out, I also offer mentorship for those who are working on their gifts. This is something I do a lot with those who are mentees that I work with, right? Like how we navigate a gift that we feel like we're getting closer to, identifying our comfortability point, being able to recognize and work with it. But I think that, listen, I got to point this out. I think that the most healthy thing that you can reflect when you have a gift is looking at it with the space of caution, right? So I think that even in the space of you being conscientious, that is a blessing. It's a good thing that you're moving in that way. Am I still doing card pulls for subscribers? Absolutely, Ginger. Yep. With my big three in the same sign, I get very confused. No, I mean, I don't think it would, I don't think I can see why it would be confusing, Alicia, but it can just mean that like you are very embodied in that path work, right? And I would definitely be curious about what the other signs are in your chart because it just says like you're just very heavily oriented to that particular sign. It's okay. I was just spilling, but I don't want to bog the live if someone's waiting. I feel like channeling. I think I missed the first part of your message. I don't know if something got I think maybe something didn't come through because I was just reading the part that I saw. I mean, I'm happy to have that conversation. I hope what I articulated helped. And thank you, Dr. William, for the follow. Yeah, I saw that part. And like I said, that type of work we can often unpack in a mentorship because we can talk about like what like we have the time to kind of like work in what you're receiving that is creating some of those conflict points and able to help recognize like how to navigate through them in a way that feels energetically supportive to your own journey, right? That said, friends, um, excellent, wonderful, Alicia. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like the first part got. I feel like they keep. I feel like something about the first part of your message is getting blocked. But again, if you want to communicate, if you want to reach out to me, channeling like across another, like either in messages or if you want to email me, like I can definitely tell you more about that too. That said, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. If you guys could do me a favor and share this live, I would appreciate it. Make sure anyone who'd like to catch this reading live is here to receive it. Also, if anyone would like to get on the list for today, you will be the second person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I don't read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. That said, we are going to get started now. And remember, we're doing a giveaway between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. Whoever gives the highest gift will also be added to the list for a reading. That said, no better time than the present. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I have the first 2 cards in our 5-card spread? We are starting our day off today, wow, with the King of Swords in its upright in combination with the Page of Swords in its upright. Yep, that makes perfect sense. I need to talk to you a little bit about the energy that we're experiencing right now. So here's the thing, and if you've been following along, we've been talking about this over the last few days. And before starting the podcast, I was going through this. There's something very interesting that's happening right now. And it's happened. It started a couple of days ago, and now it's kind of continuing through right now. A couple of days ago, we had Mercury in Taurus and Saturn moving out of Pisces into Aries. And I kept on saying, this is the closest thing to a Mercury retrograde without being a Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury does not like being in Taurus. It slows. It's like I always like to point out, Mercury can't run in the halls of Taurus. It has to slow down. So it could have been feeling like there were a lot of the same things that we would experience during a retrograde. At the same time, Saturn moving out of Pisces into Aries could bring a lot of the feelings from the past back up to the surface as well. So we're going through like the next best thing to a Mercury retrograde just a few days ago. And now we've got Jupiter in Gemini. We got Mercury in Gemini. We're going through Gemini season. It's a lot of Gemini energy. And the thing about the Gemini energy is I like to describe it, I'm sure, and if you read my Mystic Meditations article, I talked about this in that article. I like to describe Gemini energy as pinball energy. It's rapid, it's dynamic, it's the ability to bounce back and forth off of things very, very quickly, right? Taurus teaches us the ability to carve a groove, like working towards determination. Gemini talks to us about adaptation, the adaptability to be able to reach a manifestation goal. But we've got a bunch of planets in Gemini right now during Gemini season. It's like Gemini. Okay, it's like So I've been calling this welcome to multi-ball. Okay, like welcome to multi-ball. It can feel very, it's not an eclipse. Sure feels like one though. Feels pretty next best thing. And I think it's pretty wild the fact that we just went through something a couple of days ago, which was like the next best thing to a Mercury retrograde, and now we're going through like the next best thing to to an eclipse. And the other thing we're seeing is the fact that there's also a lot of planets right now in Aries. And so I feel like this is the combination force that we're seeing right now in relationality to all the planets, with the exception of like Uranus that's still in Taurus, but like we've got, and like Mars that's up in Leo, we've got like a majority of planets right now in Gemini, which is being reflected here by our King of Wands energy. And we've got a bunch of energy. I got a bunch of energy here in Aries, which is being reflected with our Page of Swords. So it's like, it's like, and I want to point this out. It almost feels like when Try Me meets FAFO. You know what I mean? Like it's like when Try Me means FAFO. It can feel very it can feel very provocative. It can feel like your patience is wearing a little bit thin on things. I'm going to now start telling you guys the same exact things that I would typically tell someone if we were going through an eclipse. And if you've stuck around for a while, you know the things I tell you when we're going through an eclipse. And what's that, right? It's okay to be spontaneous so long as it's intentional. Spontaneity with intention is surprising, right? It's fun, it's surprising, it's positive. But what you want to avoid right now is potentially being energetically fickle. And what is fickle? Fickle is feeling the inner irritation of wanting to change things for the sake of change, right? This is often things that those with heavy Gemini placements have to work through in their sign work, right? The difference between being pragmatic and fickle is being able to explain why one is adaptable, okay? And because I will tell you, this can be a little bit of like, it's a lot of that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you are someone who has a tendency of being easily triggered, if you're someone who has a tendency of being very reactive, I'm going to say the same thing that I say every time we go through an eclipse cycle. If it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. It'll be a good idea in 5 hours. Okay. And that allows for the ability of being able to be quick, right? It allows for that ability of doing something very like fast. It does have a little bit of this surprise energy here, but I keep on seeing like the difference between understanding a surprise, which is moving towards a manifestation goal in like a big way, versus those moments that we get reactive or fickle and we just become like we get frustrated and we do something without thinking, right? That sometimes is feeling more like it's in the space of volatility. So I want you to be working through the frustration right now. And that's not to say that you can't be spontaneous, but be spontaneous and intentional at the same time. Okay. And that's across all of the frequencies right now. That is a message across all of the frequencies. Can I please have the center card in today's spread? There it is. Yep, I told you it's multi-ball. It's multi-ball. We've got our 8 of wands. And it can feel like, and this is the thing about it, it's a lot of Gemini energy. And it can be very exciting. And how you carry this right now can feel very different, right? Excitable and exciting are different things, right? Excitable can feel more anxiety inducing. If you are someone who has a tendency of working through something and it feels more in the space of like carrying anxiety, I want you like working on moving this into a space that feels like it is productive. I want you moving it into a space that feels like it is excitement, right? And if you feel very excited right now, I want you to slow things down. Like, so it's like a lot of that, like and I feel like, and it's interesting too, because in that same article that I posted, I spoke about the mantra, kind of walking through this energy is you set your pace, right? The ability to feel a lot of this energy and to allow the intention to guide. I like the reason I feel like the mantra, like I set my pace, comes through, is it doesn't mean that you need to go faster or slower. It's about figuring out what feels energetically right for you, right? And that ability of doing so, like it sometimes allows us, right? Like when we set our own pace, sometimes we feel like, okay, I want to speed up, right? I want to slow down. But it's the ability of doing so without feeling reactive, but being intentional through that. This is really important. And one thing I will say is I feel like it's helping a lot, particularly and especially in the realms of healthy, positive, productive communication. I keep on hearing, and this is like something I need to see. Like it feels to me like there is something about a communication breakthrough happening here in some way, shape, or form. And I like this a lot for the energy in separation, because you'll recall what we spoke about is for a lot of the energy right now in separation. I just keep on reading the fact that these are magician partnerships that are coming together right now. And what does that mean? So, in the way I read, I see that we go through these partnership cycles. The previous relationship partnership cycle we experienced was happening between the period of time since the time that Mars stationed direct, leading into the moment that Mercury and Venus woke up behind Neptune. Those were chariot relationships. Why were they chariot relationships? Because they were focusing on the prioritization point in the consistency, the reliability of healthy counterpart that allows an ability to be able to get one's time back. Saturn moving into Aries, right? Because when we have a relationship that we create stability in, we don't need to constantly worry about where it's going. That allows us to go into the inner sanctum of the self. These energies that are coming together now are working through magician lessons. And interestingly and ironically, the magician lessons are about authenticity. It's hard. It's a lot of the energy that's letting go of the illusion of rejection, understanding that if we're in a space that we like ourselves and we like what we see, then when we experience rejection from another person, we don't take it personally, right? I mean, it hurts, right? Like we have those moments. It stings, right? It stings the ego, but we're able to understand and recognize that ability of coming into our own sense of operating operating our majesty is not the moment that we say that we're perfect. It's the moment that we recognize and we appreciate what we find there. And that's why we don't take others' feelings personally. But working through a lot of that, I keep on seeing it's allowing a lot of breakthroughs, because I keep on hearing this is the energy that as they're coming together, they stop. What are they saying? I'm not doing it anymore, right? This is the energy that understands that healthy manifestation is often not one where you start doing something, but you stop doing something, because that ability of saying, I'm just going to be myself, right? When they stop trying and they start being, they act as a beacon for the energetic counterpart to find them. And that ability of doing so, there's that understanding of, again, working through the context of change, right? The fact that we enter partnership in order to change. And we see even now that some of these energies, they want to rush towards each other, but they're moving very slowly. They're moving very conservatively, right? They're building into the space that they're getting their hopes up, but they're not trying to rush things, because something about that force here, I keep on seeing that slow and steady approach to be able to unpack feelings, to be able to work through things. This is what is allowing for a lot of these communication breakthroughs, is what I'm identifying. But what's difficult about this is at the same time, these are situations or circumstances wherein These are relationships where they're healing from some kind of situation, potentially and especially where it felt like change was conditional, right? Like this is even some energy that's healing from relationships that feel like they came into some kind of energetic ultimatum. Because the real lesson I'm seeing that's happening right now for a lot of these new partnerships is understanding that change always occurs, right? We don't enter partnership to stay the same. We enter partnership to change. But when we're in healthy partnership, that feels like a flourishing. We find ourselves there. It's the journey of discovering the self that feels like a joy. But when we're in unhealthy connection, it often feels like those moments where it feel like we're changing in ways that don't feel like they're in alignment to us, right? Those moments that feel like another is not necessarily seeing us, that sometimes can create those points of frustration. So I keep on seeing that this is why there's like so much of this unpacking here, because this is a lot of energy that is building heavily into trust with one another prior to building into the connection, but it's fortifying the connection in the process. Fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread to see how this is impacting the other frequencies. Two of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. This is really, wow. This is make sure when if you like cards, I want you to encourage you to make sure that you head over to our Substack to see today's spread, because today's spread is incredible because we've got the King of Wands in its upright in the first spot. We've got the Queen of Wands in its reversal at the other end. Now, I know what you're going to see here. This is a good thing. This is a good place to be, because when we see the energy with masculine in its upright, feminine in its reversal, we're talking about energetic counterparts here. And so this is nice because we see even now that what's happening between masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. That ability of working through communication hurdles, right? This is masculine and feminine working through different lessons in relationality to connection. And what's beautiful about it is I feel like this is a lot of the masculine energy that is learning how to communicate. There's a lot of the energy that's finding those new approaches to be able to articulate on something in a way that they haven't before. For feminine, it's being expressed in not feeling the need to have to explain oneself constantly. It's what I keep on hearing. I feel like there's something about the feminine not feeling the point of having to defend the self, finding the security and stability to stand within the sense of their own power. So again, how are masculine and feminine, like this is, I keep on hearing, there's a lot of throat chakra healing that's happening right now, but it's not unnatural for us to see that this is feminine and masculine going through those same processes of healing in different ways. For masculine, it's learning how to communicate better. And for feminine, it's actually working in that space of not feeling like one has to constantly have to defend oneself, in the space of being able to articulate upon the feelings, right? All of this being a result of Mars being in Leo, which is the ability to recognize what it means to honor the emotions, to honor the feelings. And we've been talking about this. Does honoring the feelings mean that you just do whatever the feelings dictate? No. Honoring feelings does not mean doing whatever feelings dictate. When someone says I'm honoring feelings and they're just doing whatever the heck they want to do all the time, that's being controlled by your emotions. That's fickle. Remember? That's fickle. That's fickle. We've been talking about this, okay? What is the difference between being fickle and being pragmatic? Fickle is changing for change's sake. And often being fickle describes an inability to be able to navigate uncomfortable situations or circumstances, right? This is why we do our shadow work. This is why we work towards recognizing the aversions that we have in ourselves. Because our ability, we just went through all of this with Taurus, right? Working through uncomfortability, right? Working through uncomfortability, but being able to talk through it, right? Being able to like work through the feeling, right? I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that space of energetic perseverance right now. And for the energy that is the magician partnerships that are coming together right now, this is the space that I keep on saying. This is where the healing's occurring, because you saw yesterday, we saw both the Nine of Wands coming up with the Eight of Swords. So a lot of conversations upon boundaries. But we talked a lot about in yesterday's reading, like the profound irony of boundaries, right? Because it's often in those moments that we articulate a boundary and we know that it's being upheld well. Someone goes, well, obviously, right? Like somebody goes, well, obviously, right? Often a boundary, when you articulate it for energy that you don't need it on, it seems silly. But when someone pushes against it and takes it and says the audacity of you having one, right? Like the energy that suddenly becomes volatile in the moment that you articulate something of that, it sometimes gives evidence as to why one needed it in the first place, right? Because we talk about the space of not working in the context of insisting, being able to recognize and identify what feels like it's energetically productive. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now in separation, working through the story of where those boundaries came from, right? Why ever did you need that? Right? Like having, like, this is, I keep on hearing, like it's the journey of the personal history that allows the context of understanding further. A lot of that energetic unpacking, but building trust in the process. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, this is the opposite. These are the chariot partnerships. These are the partnerships that we're forming from about the time that Mars stationed direct until Mercury and Venus woke up behind Neptune, that are working through the fact that sometimes when we're in traumatizing environments, we put up boundaries that we need, and then we really want to take them down. This is the difficulty point. This is why we talk about the need to heal, because often the same things that protected us, the same things that kept us safe, limit our partnerships, because healthy energy does not mean not having weapons. It doesn't mean being unmanned. Healthy energy is recognizing what the journey is in terms of what you need to pick up and what you need to put down. And so that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, it's all about boundaries, masculine and feminine coming into divine union, talking about the journey of where those boundaries came from. What is masculine and feminine energy doing right now coming into divine union? They're going into the self and they're seeing what they're working on letting go of, right? What tendencies that they needed to protect the self that now potentially feel like they're acting as blockages in partnership. So this is a lot of the energy potentially doing that hard work and coming into deepening spaces of vulnerability. It's hard stuff. Masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, clarification between our King of Wands and our Page of Swords. Card's already here because it got stuck to the table, because ever since Pluto went retrograde, all the cards are sticking to the table. We've got here our King of Swords in its reversal. So everything that I'm identifying here, this just feels to me, this feels to me like there's a lot, I'm just identifying, it feels like there's a lot of work here as it relates to, particularly for the energy deep within divine union. And it's interesting too, because for the energy deep within divine union, I think I told you, I keep on seeing it in, it's in temperance, but it was moving into justice, right? It's working on balance. And I keep on seeing that space of balance is also kind of a conversation in relationality to vulnerability, right? And I think even now, like, and I got to describe this, a lot of the energy that we're feeling right now feels very similar to eclipse. And that's why I keep on seeing that something about that working even potentially, and I can feel like for some energy right now, this can feel a little exhausted. Like I've been getting a lot of this right now because some of this, like the intensification that we're experiencing right now, it can feel a little exhaustive. Like it feels a little bit like an articulation about R&R is what I keep on hearing. It's like talking about the need for rest or trying to come into a space of making things easier or working in some kind of capacity to try to recognize efficiencies is what I keep on seeing. Like I almost see like I feel like there's a lot of conversations right now deep within divine union saying, how can we do something easier? How can we make something easier? Right? Like it's a lot of that. Like I'm not surprised to see it because Gemini energy is often always about efficiencies. Continuing to get clarification between our Page of Swords in combination with our Eight of Wands in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? There it is. There's that Five of Cups. One of the reasons, I got to just tell you guys, one of the reasons that we're potentially feeling so exhausted right now, Saturn just had a massive, like, listen, Saturn transiting into a house is no small matter. Okay, like I got to stress this. It's not an everyday thing. Okay, it's kind of a big deal. Saturn's going, this is kind of a big deal. But we've been talking about this, and I have to tell you, I feel like the thing about it is like Saturn transiting. It's like we're all going through a Saturn return. Now we're all having a Saturn return. It's like Saturn is showing up like I'm here. But I mean, like, I think that it's important because it articulates, and I need to stress this, Saturn in Pisces, I keep on hearing it's quality instead, like the best way I can describe it, it's quality instead of quantity is what I keep on getting. It's like quality instead of quantity because I keep on seeing that there's something about that, right? Like it's not about, and I feel like the thing with Saturn and Pisces is like, how can we do this bigger? Like, how can we do this bigger? How can we do this bigger? And I feel like Saturn and Aries is like, let's not try to do everything. Let's just try to do like, let's work on like, let's do one thing really, really, really well. Right. It's like it's working on, it's like the refinement of the self. It is the understanding, right? Because this is what we often see between the difference between Pisces to Aries, which is taking something big and making it something smaller, right? It's like the expanse that becomes like the next thing. So I keep on seeing that like a lot of this energy, it feels a lot like I keep on getting it feels like spearhead energy, right? And so it can feel very hard or exhaustive as we push through, as Saturn pushes through into Aries, because often, right, often a healthy manifestation goal, we've talked about this, a healthy manifestation goal is not often the journey of saying, what else do we need to do? It's what do we need to stop doing, right? It's like working into austerity. These are conversations about austerity, and I feel like a lot of that work, right? It feels like I almost feel like a little bit of this exhaustiveness that you might be feeling is a little bit of the energetic hangover point of Saturn moving into Pisces because it's almost like that desire for something feeling simple, right? It doesn't. How do we move towards our manifestations? It's not saying I want more, saying I don't want it to be this hard. It shouldn't be this way, right? It's that easement point that almost allows for that. Like I keep on hearing, it's the simplification of the minimalism that allows one to see with clarity how simple one something can move into, but it's painful, right? It's painful as we do that, especially as it relates to, I keep on seeing, recognizing and identifying um, the difference between I keep hearing the difference between the transformation that moves us in accordance with what it is that we aspire to, right? The healthy manifestation is not one that we say, gimme. We say, help me see, right? It's the recognition of what it is that we're trying to change that brings us into balance with the self. But also at the same time, there's a lot of that acceptance about the fact that there's, like I keep on hearing, transience. There's like like the transitive quality of time. The fact that the only thing that that change itself can often feel like the only constant. But this is how I think the Gemini energy kind of helps us here. Because Gemini, here's the thing, in Gemini it says to us, change is good. Change is not something we talked about this heavily in the class that we just taught on the death card. If you want to see that full class, you can find it over on the Tarot Church Library, if you're a subscriber. But we talked about the space that when we're in our relationship to change is how we navigate things. And sometimes when we hold on to things too tightly, we start recognizing our own limitations or blockages. Now this is why I feel like something for the energy and separation is something very bittersweet, because what is happening for a lot of these magician partnerships that are bringing in authenticity, right? This is the energy that said, I'm sick of it. I'm just going to show up and be myself, right? And when we say, I'm sick of it, I'm just going to show up and be myself, what does the higher self say? Finally. Finally, because when we start being ourself, we act as a beacon for the counterpart that's in alignment to us. And it's in that moment that we find someone that, again, and what is the song that this energy says to one another as they find each other, right? Are they trying to pretend they're perfect? No. But they know their assignment, right? What is the song of majesty? I'm not perfect, but I'm working on it, right? I'd love to tell you about what I'm doing. It's the acceptance of the celebration of self. And in the moment that the energy celebrates themselves, they're able to both recognize the energy that's in alignment to them and also recognize that they're not necessarily for everyone. There's going to be energy that feels that aversion to that, and that's okay. Because a lot of this energy I keep on seeing in separation is working through lessons of non-attachment. Remembering, please, please, please remember, non-attachment does not mean going numb. It doesn't mean being like, it's great, I've stopped feeling, I'm so healed, I don't feel anything anymore. It's not taking others' feelings personally. Because if I can't control how you feel about me, then the only responsibility, if I can't go in you and change something, the only responsibility within you that I have the power to control is confusion. And so this is the energy that what are they doing in that space? In the minute they say the only responsibility of emotion I have that you may experience is confusion, they look at the emotions as clarity. They don't look at something in terms of trying to convince another to like another person. They just recognize if they do or not. And in the moment they do so, this is potentially, I see a lot of pain being released, because this is energy that may be talking about previous experiences where they're saying that person claimed to love me, but whether they like me or not always seemed to be a question, right? Continuing to get clarification. And that's painful, because I keep on hearing there's a lot of energy entering into healthy connection while at the same time swallowing hard truths, right? This is why we talk about healing. Healing is is seeing the bitter pill and swallowing it, right? It's the recognition of being able to understand something, not because it feels good for the self, but it's in the recognition of understanding the difficulty that allows us to heal further. Continuing to get clarification between our 8 of wands in combination with our 2 of wands in its reversal. There's that Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, I got to tell you right now, this is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. I keep on seeing, I feel like it's interesting because I just keep on seeing, I feel like there's a lot, I keep on hearing a lot of throat chakra healing, a lot of throat chakra healing that is happening right now in this Gemini season, which is why I'm going to say to you, like, your words have meaning. I don't want anybody talking hyperbolically right now. Okay? No hyperbole. Okay? No hyperbole, because I just keep on seeing that something about that journey is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the energy coming into divine union, right? Because for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, I keep on hearing the energy say, I'm learning to put my weapons down. Why is the energy saying, I'm learning to put my weapons down? Because we're having a lot of these conversations right now in Gemini season in relationality to boundaries. For the energy in separation, it's the articulation as to why they're there. Like often the boundaries we have articulate upon the experiences that created the boundaries that become standards in the first place. Our boundaries are connected to our history. For the energy, this is why for a lot of the energy that's in divine union, healing, the recognition of a boundary that they may have set for themselves that felt like it was really, really important at the time, right? But then understanding that it feels like it's actually acting in a way as a limitation and building a connection. This is often why we see that feeling of trying to work into a deepened space of vulnerability with counterpart, because it's the moment that we say, you're safe with me, that allows for that ability to start to come into that space of learning how to be vulnerable. But even as we do it, it sometimes feels like the wrong thing to do, because if we're trauma informed, like that's the thing that was keeping you safe. And this is why we talk about the fact that our healing isn't linear, because sometimes it's linear because what we need to do changes, right? What we need to do on that journey adjusts. And so for a lot of the energy is like, I just spent like, I literally, you know, I can see the energy being like, I just spent all this time having boundaries. And now you're saying you have to take them down. Yes. Yes. Because the difference, right? Because the difference between a like the energetic standard, like a standard is conditional upon what we're trying to bring forth within the self, right? And so this is why our standards are changed depending on the level of intimacy that we receive, like that we find within one another, right? And we all have these moments, right? We always talk about this, like when we have the healthy relationship, they often become the exception, because it's that work that says in other spaces I have to protect, but here I get to embrace, right? So it's working through that space. I keep on seeing that a lot of the energy is doing that same work, talking about past experiences, but doing so in a way to almost help counterpart understand why they may be experiencing some resistance in relationality to a conversation about vulnerability. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union. Clarification between our Two of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. All right. There's that Three of Swords in its reversal. And this is, I got to tell you right now, we've got some sword energy here, but I'm okay with what I'm seeing. I'm okay with the fact that a lot of the swords that we're seeing right now are in their reversal. There's a lot of this, I just keep on identifying, there's a lot of this healing that I'm seeing. And I feel like for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, it's I feel like it's working through, it's like working through a lot of this Gemini energy. It's working through a little bit of the hangover between like the Gemini energy and the Aries energy, like the Saturn moving. I told you this is some heavy astrological stuff that we've been experiencing the last few days. So like coming through some kind of energetic or like energetic come down, if you will, like working through um like a lot of like I keep on seeing like working through navigating this Gemini energy, which can feel somewhat overwhelming. But what is the energy doing deep within divine union to ground through it? They're making those plans. They're setting those manifestation goals. Or even I keep on hearing they're potentially prioritizing rest to be able to identify what feels like what feels supportive and possible. And that's what's beautiful, because if this is the energy right now, and I just want to show you, for both masculine and feminine energy, like that work about recognizing and talking about like change, like the nature of emotions that change, but change in profound ways. I keep on seeing that there's just like this, there's like, these are tender conversations, but they're tender, but at the same time, they're also incredibly energetically supportive, because I keep on seeing that there's something about that tenderness that feels a bit like the validation point in terms of articulating how one feels in order to like facilitate like what another needs. Like I keep on hearing healing conversations, continuing to get clarification between our King of Swords in its reversal and our Five of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. I'm not surprised to see it. We've got our Lover's card in its reversal. And if this card looks familiar, we did draw it a couple of days ago. As well. Actually, I believe we had it yesterday. This was a card that came up yesterday. But the thing that's important about it is, and I need to point this out, the Lovers in its reversal does not necessarily indicate like a broken energetic connection. I need to walk you guys through this so you understand it. The way that the cards work is it's not necessarily the fact that the card in its reversal articulates about the opposite of something. It is often having to deal with an energetic nuance, right? And this is very much in alignment with what we talked about as it relates to partnership. Because the thing about true partnership is it brings up unexpected things, right? And the fact that partnership brings up unexpected things can actually act as a delight, right? It creates that space of something that feels energetically surprising, right? Like this is why we sometimes have those moments with people we care about. We're having that vulnerable conversation and something comes out and we go, I've never said that to anyone before, right? Like we have those moments that we're sometimes taken aback, because often one of the indicators that we have when we've built into an authentic communication with another person is we almost were able to process something in such a way that we get out of our own headspace, right? This is the beauty of energetic connection, is the fact that we can act as conduits for one another. And sometimes we find things that we say that we're almost like surprised to hear them. And I feel like this is happening right now in this Gemini energy as it relates. I keep on hearing it's I keep on hearing the conduit of contradiction. And what is the conduit of contradiction? Which is often, right, when we're working something through, right, within the self, we either find something, right? We either find something, go, oh, wait, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Right? Or we have those moments going, oh my, like in the minute we explain something to another, we see something that we could not have seen before. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of these magician partnerships that are coming together right now, experiencing the conduit of contradiction, right? Working through something that they experienced and then articulating upon it, and another person being like, that's not how that reads to me. Right? That's not how that reads to me. Or like why, like even in the space of being like somebody like overly, I keep on seeing like somebody overly correcting, someone taking accountability for something that wasn't their fault, like working in that space of either or like working too hard on something. Like I keep on hearing there's like a little bit of this energetic alignment that's happening via the conduit of contradiction being brought forth because of the Gemini energy that helps someone see something that they couldn't see before, right? Breakthrough. While for the energy coming into divine union, I told you these are the chariot partnerships, the stabilization point that creates that different point of view. This is why the energy is saying, like, they're going through the paradox and saying the thing that protected me up until this point is now what I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to get rid of. Right? This is how we heal. It's not coming into the space of saying you didn't need that boundary at some point. You didn't need that wall. But when we work so much in the space of held, like, this is the intention of being able to, like, you know, be in that space of the intentionality of being able to be protective and then choosing to be vulnerable is the difference between being, like, holding standards and being guarded, right? Like, that's the difference. That's the difference between having standards and then being guarded. And so this is what I keep on seeing that's difficult, because I see a bunch of energy that's working through this right now, and they're working through the fact of going, that thing that I needed that protected me up until this point, I got to figure out how to get it out of the way. I got to figure out how to get it out of the way. It's working through the space that says, and again, I almost hear the energy apologizing and being like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I'm like this. And the energy's going, you have nothing to apologize for, right? It's the understanding of the observation of what we're working on that allows the ability to be able to slowly take our armor off, is what I keep on hearing. While for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, clarification between our Five of Cups and its upright in combination with our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. Woo, did you see that happen? Did you see that? Wow. All right, for those who are following the podcast, we just had two cards coming out transverse, and those are our Five of Pentacles in its transverse with the Moon card in its transverse. I told you the thing with all of this Gemini energy is it feels a little bit like deja vu, right? But that ability of working through familiar feelings, working through something, working through the nuance, right? It's not always, I keep on hearing, it's a nuance, like when we are being, and this is what I keep on hearing, when we understand our own complication, we often we can look at things with a deeper ability to discern, right? Because that discernment is the recognition that the combination force of intentionality and expression is why you can sometimes do something and it's completely not okay. But sometimes you do something in a way that you are able to show, like I keep on hearing the refinement point in something. It's like I keep on seeing there's a lot of this conversation in relationality to nuance, which is working through, I keep on hearing, like not just taking like a blanket approach to things, right? Like not just being like this all the time, like this is the value. I keep on hearing it's about, and I'm not surprised, and this is why I feel like this is why the energy is in justice, and we talk a lot about this. We talk a lot about this in the class that I teach on the justice card, which is understanding that when we understand that the nature of something is curved, like when we understand the curvature of something, we understand that we don't take a one size fits all approach as it relates to our thinking. It's the ability to recognize and to take a nuanced approach to things, to see the differences that allows us to bring balance to situations, right? Which is often why, like sometimes we have to, like we see even now, like that space of pragmatism, like working into that space of fine tuning. Like when we're doing that type of work, it often requires a lot of conversation, particularly in relationality to, like I keep on hearing, like intentionality, but also in communication, right? Like it's the ability to differentiate between things. And I'm not surprised to see it because we're in Gemini energy. So this it can be a lot of that juxtaposition. Continuing to get clarification. Oh, these cards I want to stick on the table right now. It's fine. Ever since Pluto in retrograde started, it's fine. Between the Queen of Pentacles And I like this. I love the fact that I said it's about nuance. And even as I did that, we had 3 cards coming out because we've got too much. We've got a lot of Gemini energy right now. There's a lot of different planets resting in Gemini. Clarification between our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal and our 3 of Swords in its reversal. We've got 3 cards here. Boom. We've got our Magician, our Ace of Cups, and our Strength card in its reversal. So let's talk about this. This is exactly like what we're talking about, because the thing is, the way I like to describe Gemini energy, it is the array. All right, Gemini energy is the array. It is working on something like so much that suddenly, boom, it cascades out in different ways, right? And we talk a lot about this, the journey between Taurus, right? What do? We work through a groove. We do something over and over again. We push through, we persevere. We find the tenacity of doing something. We feel frustrated. We do it more. And then suddenly, right, a moment comes and we do it without even thinking. And then we go, because it's a conversation about how far we can bring ourselves. Practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes perfect, because while we may arrive in a certain way, what we put our attention to hones us into what it is that we're trying to do. Right. And so it's beautiful because we often see that journey between Taurus, right? Again and again, Taurus carving the groove, right? And then you're just like, and then suddenly, boom, like you do something in such a way that you recognize that it has shaped you. Our practices shape us. The way we think shapes us. The things we put our intention to. Like, this is how they create that expansion point. But I see even now across all of the frequencies, there's something about that breakthrough point that is potentially, I want to say, and I keep on hearing the energy go, well, now I can see it. Is what I keep on hearing someone say. It's very, I mean, it's obvious now, but at the time, like, it's like a lot. But this is also like, this is why we forgive ourselves on our journey. Because what is the song you hear as you come into your understanding of self? Well, it seems obvious to me now. It seems obvious. Because often it's the ability of having that clarity, right? Being able to see something that one couldn't see before. And what's happening right now is, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, I keep on hearing the energy that's saying, what are we missing? I feel like there's a lot of the energy deep within divine union going, what are we missing? But they're saying, what are we missing? Because even in the space of recognizing and identifying that you're moving into the process of understanding of the self, you start to like recognize that there's like, even in that moment, like you might be like, it's like, it's trying to be, I feel like there's a lot of that, like trying to be very energetically careful in ways, but also being very conscientious of the self in the process. Like, I feel like there's a lot of compassion that the counterparts are giving one another through those journeys, which is basically, again, the space that we say we do the best we can do. We move with intention. We don't know what the future holds, but we never do. We set our intention and we hope for the best, because that is the nature of living a blessed existence, right? It's amplifying that hope. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this is the energy going, I never knew, if I had only known. That's the energy, if I'd only known. If I'd only known. But the reason they're saying if I'd only known is it's this understanding that this is why we talk about the fact that the journey of healing is not linear, because it is. It's like, it's not about putting armor on or taking armor off. It's knowing, it's knowing when the time, like what the time is. Like, it's knowing there is a season for everything. So again, the journey of often being in separation, one having to have the standards, right? Healing the boundaries that become the standards. And then moving into partnership, starting to learn to put the weapons down, learning that it's energetically safe to return back into the point of vulnerability, right? We have that space because it's our ability to be able to be intentional. And sometimes we try to build it up. Sometimes we try to put it down. Not everybody gets the same parts of us, is what I keep on hearing. And this is why I keep on hearing that this is the energy that's blessed, because they're building the context with the counterpart that says you are my exception to the rule, right? You are my exception to the rule, which is often those moments that we have those points that we're able to be energetically vulnerable, because we say, you are someone who I feel that space of safety with, right? This is that energetic equivalent of feeling that vulnerability and working towards it, right? But sometimes it can be very triggering in the process. And this is why I see that there's some energy right now that in the moment that they articulate what was going wrong in the past relationship, they realize that they close that chapter, right? Because it is the definition point between something that one is actively working on versus something one has accepted. And that's why I keep on hearing that there's something about that that feels very energetically bittersweet, because often we can't see things about circumstances or situations until we articulate it to another person. And it's in that moment that we articulate it that we see something and we recognize it to be true. And so I keep on seeing there's something about that communication that feels vulnerable, but it's the healing vulnerability of the honest conversation where it allows, when one's authenticity is able to be expressed, it allows for a lot of this energy that's building healthy trust with one another. And I need to point this out. These are not relationships where each other are demanding trust. They're earning trust. They're building it brick by brick. Continuing to get clarification between our lovers, the 10 of Pentacles in its transverse, along with the Moon card in its transverse. We've got here the Judgment card. A lot of this, like, I gotta tell you, a lot of this, the thing with like the Gemini energy, and I keep on seeing it here, it's working through, I keep on seeing it's working through the ability, I keep on saying it's working through trusting the process is what I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing that across all of the frequencies. I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting the process. Why is the energy trusting the process to a certain extent? Because like when we trust the process, we trust ourselves, is what I keep on hearing. And that ability of being able, and I keep on seeing like when we and I like to point this out, the difference between being righteous versus, articulating upon something that we're worrying about is the difference between looking at something and like trying to, I like to point out, the ego always wants to say, because I could, right? Like it's coming into that space that said, it's working in that space of building into the protectiveness. But when we're experiencing something in a way that it feels like it like I keep on hearing, it turns a light on inside, like it helps us see something. I feel like there's something really important as it relates to being able to have a breakthrough on something via the communication that helps you see something in a way that you couldn't before. This is great. I'm telling you, this is like key Gemini energy here, because that's why Geminis are often like, like how many ideas do you need? Like Geminis are like, it's why there's so many inventors that are Geminis. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like it's the idea after the idea. So like I would not be surprised if there's a lot, it feels like a lot of idea energy. But that's why I'm going to say this again. Okay? I'm going to say this again because there's a little bit of this energy that feels a bit too much like an eclipse that we have to be conscientious on. So I'm going to say this again. If you got a great idea, write it down. And if it's a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in 5 minutes. It'll be a good idea in 5 hours. Let it settle for a minute, okay? Like, because some of this energy, again, healthy, we're working through Gemini lessons right now, which is the difference between pragmatism and fickleness. Is pragmatism is being able to take different approaches to a manifestation goal. Fickleness is just changing for the sake of change. It's because you felt like it at the moment. It felt right at the time. So just make sure that if you're embracing, you are embracing the spontaneity with intentionality, is what I'm saying here. Continuing between this whole array, again, we're working with the array right now, between the 10 of Pentacles in its transverse, the Moon card in its transverse, the Magician in its upright, the Strength card in its reversal, and the Ace of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through with the 7 of Swords in its reversal. So there's a lot to be said right now, and I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of this, if you're feeling a little bit of this ennui, it's potentially the result of Saturn transiting into Aries, right? Because some of it, I keep on hearing, we just came out, we are now in what could be best described as like a pseudo, I want to say this is like a pseudo eclipse. We just went through like a pseudo Mercury retrograde, which is like, it feels like one, even though it wasn't. And the thing with the Mercury, because we had Mercury in Taurus as Saturn was moving into Aries. So it was like things were slowing down, working through frustration, potentially the past, things from the past coming back to the surface. But when we're working through those, the ability to understand that is often, it is the appreciation in recognizing and identifying how much one has changed. We just came out of that Scorpio full moon, which was, again, what did we talk about the Scorpio full moon in Taurus? Honoring the path of change, seeing how far we've come in relationality to circumstances, and what we, and essentially even observing the past version of self, how the past version of self would have navigated something versus the present. So that ability of being able to recognize the difference, and this is why I keep on hearing healthy energy embraces the journey of nuance, because then the ability of seeing that you're taking a different approach to something, you recognize that you've changed. Yeah, I can hear a lot of energy being like, old me would have done blah. New me is like right? Like, it's giving me a lot of this, like, and it's giving me, sometimes it's like, it creates a little bit of that, like, why I oughta, because often in those moments, and this is what I meant about some of this vibration with the eclipse, which is sometimes working through the provocation point when we recognize how much we've changed and another person hasn't honored that change in the way that we ourselves have, right? And I keep on hearing, when we are honoring the change, we articulate upon it. We appreciate, like I keep on hearing, we appreciate the ability to connect. We aren't presumptuous upon it. And so I feel like there is something about, and that's what I meant about some of this new moon in Gemini having to be with, like I kept on saying, it was like the erratic change or the energy of like navigating the audacity, because that space that we identify and recognize, when we honor each other's journeys in terms of how far we've come, I keep on hearing it's courteous, it's not presumptuous, right? It's the, I keep on hearing, it is the adaptation point, right? The energy that recognizes that we don't stay, that we are constantly changing, and it's a joy to be able to navigate that journey together, versus those situations that we sometimes feel when we feel like we've done something that is good for us and another person says, like, you know, like, I'm sorry to see the fact you've changed. Another person being like, well, I'm not. I'm like very happy about that, right? Sometimes it can tell us a lot about the situation of circumstances, given the adaptability in recognizing, again, the healthy relationship is one that embraces that change does not work against it. It's just the nature that you find something in, right? It's like the joy of saying, like, it's a joy to change with you, versus someone coming to that space that says, how dare you, is what I keep on hearing. And that's happening across all the frequencies. Final card for today's spread, between our Judgment card and our 7 of Swords in its reversal. Page of Cups in its upright. And I think that there's something really important about this because I like the Page of Cups in this context because it says to me that it is a conversation in relationality to being protective about hope, is what I keep on seeing. And what do I mean about being protective about hope? I keep on hearing that there's a lot of these energies. I told you, these are those magician partnerships that are coming together right now. And that ability of articulating and saying to another person, like, I keep on hearing this energy almost apologizing for how slow they are moving towards one another, right? They're actually, I almost feel like them saying to each other, like the past version of me would have just run into your arms, but I'm being energetically careful because this is the energy that is feeling that vibration of frustration. That when we're energetically safe, someone says, you have nothing to apologize for. It's fine, right? And even in that space of feeling that easement, it creates that feeling of safety, but it also articulates upon the experiences where another person was, I keep on seeing, like making demands from another, right? Because when again, when we're not in alignment, or when it feels like someone is in like looking towards us as a means to an end, it's not so much as the adaptability or versus someone being like you know, like do this or else, like, right? Like a lot of this, like, I feel like there's some energy that's like just healing from some very like relationships where it felt like I keep on hearing, like, I'm sorry, but I'm healing from someone where there was always consequences, as opposed to just moving into a space of energetic vitality, right? Like there's a lot of that. I keep on seeing there's like a lot of that healing and relationality to nurturing in that way. Um, while for energy, and that's why I keep on hearing the energy, you don't have to apologize to me for those boundaries because they don't seem that strange. They seem very like reasonable. And it's in that moment that someone realizes just how much they're healing from something. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, this is the energy that's almost apologizing and saying, I'm sorry it's taking me this long. And this energy saying it will take a lifetime. We're never going to be not working on this because this is the energy that often realizes that when we build into healthy connection, the journey of having to put down the thing that kept you energetically protected, right? When we reach that higher ground, these are warrior lessons. I told you, like, this is the energy that says find we don't find peace, we make peace. And we make peace every day when we have healthy counterpart because we feel the energy of the past that makes us want to put our armor up. And then we work to, like, these are all those lessons in Chiron. We work to like suppress that energetic tendency because we say to ourselves, I'm like, this is the safe place to be, right? And when we're in the safe, I keep on hearing the energy that's in working through the relationship, that's sanctuary, is learning how to continue to stay safe there or to create into that expression of allowing that to be the embodiment of what it is that they're bringing forth day after day. While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, um, there's something really important that I see in relationality to, I keep on seeing prioritizing rest or reminding counterpart that rest is not exclusive to work. Rest is part and parcel to it. I keep on hearing this is energy, and I'm not surprised about this, like especially with Saturn moving into Aries. This is about navigating a holistic experience. And a holistic experience is looking at something and saying, how can we make that better? Right? It's looking at something that's difficult and saying, how can we make that easier? So I see even now that like there's a lot of that work in terms of navigating efficiencies, potentially even planning for how to prioritize rest. Because I do feel like again, the thing with like a lot of this Gemini energy in combination with the Saturn coming into Aries is it can feel a little bit like conversations as it relates to how to make something more energetically sustainable. Bottom of the deck on this reading, there's that 3 of Cups in It's reversal. So, and this is what I meant about a little bit of this volatility that we need to talk about right now between Gemini and Aries. Because the thing is, Gemini and Aries, there's a lot of that work in relationality to navigating patience. Okay. Gemini, um, Gemini have patience, right? But the thing with Gemini is Gemini realize like Gemini don't have patience so much as they keep themselves very busy. Like that's the thing about it. Like Gemini arrive and they know that a watch pot never boils, right? It's working into that context. Aries don't have a lot of patience, right? Aries often are looking for progress so that they can find more patience. Now, what we basically got happening right now with all of this energy, in with all of the energy right now between Aries and Gemini, um, it can often feel a little bit, and this is why I want you to be taking a very, like, I don't want you to be reactive right now because I told you this can feel a little eclipsy. This feels almost like a pseudo eclipse. And with so much energy in Gemini and Aries, this sometimes can create these moments with FAFO meets try me. like, like it can create those moments. It almost reminds me, the best way I can describe it is, have you ever heard that like Key and Peele meme where they're having a text conversation and one person is smiling, they're sending the messages from a place of happiness, and the other person is saying them very angrily, right? It can sometimes like it might be able to create situations like that. So make sure that you're not misreading into things right now. Okay? Make sure you are not misreading into circumstances and situations. Can you please repeat that? Did I understand that correctly? Because there can sometimes be, I'm just noticing there's so much of this bounciness between the Aries and Gemini. It's very easy to be energetically provoked by misreading into something that another person may have meant innocuously. So make sure that I keep on hearing, make sure that you're checking, like double, like much like we do with eclipses, double check. Okay. Like, double check. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I'd encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the death card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be doing a deep dive into the Temperance card. I'm so excited to teach this class. It's a fascinating card. And all you need to do if you'd like to become a member of that class program is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church class library. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I will be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've studied thus far, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything we've studied or are currently learning. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me if you so choose to have one, where I will meet with you and assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going towards your personal tarot goals. You will also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. That is access to over 14 hours worth of material in an ever expanding library. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these per dream or as a package. If you purchase the dream interpretation package, make sure that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal, utilizing the tarot to help understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow. That is our daily collective read. We are going to get started on personal readings. Congratulations, Kath. You are our highest gifter for today, and you will also be getting a free reading. And congratulations to Allie. You came in second, so you will also have an additional card when we do the one-card readings for subscribers. If anyone else would like to get on the list for today, you will be the 6th person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also at 50K, so we will be doing a drawing to gift a reading back to the collective. Thank you guys so much for helping us reach that milestone. We will be doing a second giveaway when we get to 100K. As I mentioned, I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading, but if you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. Thank you for the compliment on my hair, Abby. Hi there, Jenna. Sending you support on that journey. And it's my day. Your subscription, Grace, your subscription is ending soon if you'd like to renew. Brian, I was told in a dream I am the 2 of Wands. Wow. That's interesting, because that would say to me that you're very much in ambassador energy, right? Like 2 of Wands is an ambassador. Hi there, Ms. Millie. Good to see you today. Jenna, thank you for the follow. Sacred, a lot of throat chakra healing with this Gemini moon. That tracks. I know it's not easy, right? Because often, like, what happens when we got to do throat chakra stuff? We got to talk about uncomfortable things, stuff we don't want to talk about, stuff we don't like to talk about. Hi there, future. I mean, I feel like for a lot of the feminine energy, it is like, I feel like, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, not feeling like they have to over explain their boundaries, you know? And thank you for sharing the live, Sacred. Guala, thank you for the follow. Allie, speaking truth, so excited. As am I, dear. Looking forward to it. And thank you for those gifts. And thank you as well. Ginger, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Amanda, thank you for the follow. And thank you as well, Natasha, for the follow. Hi there, Carmen. I resonate with this so much. Thank you for being and receiving these messages, Allie. Jenna, I'm so glad this resonates as well. Elisa, that's my mantra. How can I make something easier? Tap to claim, Elisa. Of course, I've been pulling 5 of Cups every day for a week. It has to do with the Saturn. It's Saturn transiting, right? Because we've been seeing it. It's not about feelings. I know I know it's it's like it's frustrating. It's interesting too because I went to say it's frustrating, and instead I said it's rust, which is interesting because it's saying to me that like the feel like I keep on hearing feelings rust, which is like the reason I'm hearing feelings rust is because like it's not about it's about putting feelings in places that feel like they create change instead of becoming like hardened by them. He looks like how I feel. Yeah, yeah, the five of cups right now. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of bottom of the barrel energy. I feel Saturn for real. I know, Catherine. It's a heavy transit. Does he look like how you feel too? If you have been personally impacted by Saturn transiting into Aries, please, please raise your hand. Most definitely. And thank you, Natasha, for those gifts. Lovely, all of us going through a Saturn return. Isn't it nice? We all get to go through it together. It's great. We're all together in the learning tree. Hi there from Hawaii. How are you doing, Annalise? Oh, I hope you're having a beautiful day there. Oh, Ella, I did not sign up for a Saturn return at this time. It's like, you know what it is? It's like, what was it like when Apple like put that song on all? It's like that. Like everybody gets a Saturn return right now. You get a Saturn return, and you get I don't want you get a Saturn return too. I'll be back, no problem, dear. Hi, Haley, we're going through it, but at least we're in it together. Exactly, we are all in it together. Hi there, Natasha. Haley, yes, minimizing the issues that get blown out of proportion in the healthiest way possible. Beautifully said, Haley. Thank you as well, Jenna. I'm so glad that this was accurate. Thank you for confirming. Adam, thank you for those gifts. Working through the pain in a productive way right now, Namita. Like that's the work, right? Oh, it's okay if you fell asleep, dear. I'm glad you got rest. Yes, thank you for confirmation, Jenna. Higher self, I'm ready. Tap to claim. Hi there, Mel. I'm a Cap Sun, Aries Moon, Gem Rising. Just left a toxic relationship, but I'm sure you did everything. Like again, a Cap Sun, Aries Moon, Gem Rising is like I've done everything I can to fix it before I move away. You know, that's almost like a Leo in terms of being like there's nothing else like you don't move away from something unless there's everything until you've like it's the only thing to do. Resonate because I feel like you also don't like throwing things away. Like I can see like I keep hearing you don't like throwing things away. Resonates so much working to not mask anymore. Sending you so much support on that journey, Lisa. I know it's difficult. Thank you for those gifts, Adam. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And thank you, Nikki, for getting on the list. Mel, I'm working on accepting I'm a bad guy in someone else's story, and that's okay, right? It's difficult, but I think that it's important because it feels to me like that's the song you're going to hear as you're moving away from people pleasing. Thank you for the follow. Kath, thank you for those gifts. Bridget, I'm coming into union. First meeting, be like, finally, quick, let's go on vacation. Let's get out of here. This place is trash. Thank you as well, Mel. I'm so glad that this was accurate. Carly, that's how I felt with my ex. Sending you so much support, dear. And thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. He said he loved me, but I didn't feel like he actually liked me for years. Sending you so much support on that journey, dear. I know how painful that is. Let's go on vacation right away. Yes. And Romina, thank you for the follow. And not Tash, thank you for the follow. All right, thank you for those gifts. And Solitary, thank you for the follow. Bridget, let's go somewhere quiet and get to know each other without outside interference. I like that. Let's ask Bridget. Yes, you're so welcome, Mamo. Oh, yes, you type so fast. I've been waiting to not too long not to go on vacation immediately upon union. I like that. The girls are so, hi there, Justine. Haley, I did a reading last night and only pulled Major Arcana and Swords. The first 10 cards. I mean, it feels very much like, you gotta point out, Saturn, like Saturn and Aries is like, kind of a big deal. It's like, it's about like working through the big deal. Like it's a big deal. Like it's like saying to me, it's like working through something, but being able to understand why it's important, you know? It was intense. I can imagine that's an intense spread. The Lovers in Reverse is actually the Lovers in Reverse we had the other day as well. Yep, lack of, but I want to point out, It's recognizing the imbalance in relationship, right? And it's important to notate that the ability, like, how do we come into healthy union, right? It's recognizing like where the work is. Like, this is what I'm working on. I like lovers in its reversal because it's the energy that says, I understand my assignment. Like, I know I'm not perfect, but I'm working on it. And Star Goddess, thank you for those beautiful gifts. And welcome back, dear. Hi there, 810. It's intense. It's working through all of this Gemini energy, but we were talking, we were expecting this. It's a lot of array. Too tuned into the message to comment. Thank you for your energy. Oh, you're so welcome, dear. I'm so glad that this is in alignment. I hope this helps you ground it. And Bibi, so good to see you, dear. And I'm glad you got on the list today. Looking forward to our reading. All in reversals. I mean, but I'm not, like, here's the thing. I'm not upset about a reversal. A reversal is not necessarily a negative card. There's some cards I would infinitely like to see in a reversal. There are some cards I would far, far prefer to see in a reversal in its upright position. And Erica, thank you for those gifts. Good afternoon, Erica. Good to see you today, dear. Channeling. I'm doing a reading for myself and writing standards as I pulled the Eight of Pentacles in its reversal. But even, like, I like to point that out, right? Like, I feel like Eight of Pentacles in its reversal could be conversations about letting go of people pleasing, right? It's not easy. Yes, I'm completely trusting the process and the universe at this point. The array sounds so majestic. Well, I've told you, it's a lot of Gemini energy. It's a lot of that expansive point. Majestically exhausting. I love it. I love it. And Hardy, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Hi there. I can't get past the exhaustion. I have so much to do and no energy. Just make sure, listen, if that's the case right now, Fig, prioritize rest. Small bursts, right? Again, and I'll tell you right now, Gemini energy, prioritizing rest, working in small bursts is going to be helpful. Yeah, things are slowing down, but the past wants to come back into present. I'm not surprised to see it given what we just went through. I feel that lists help so much. Do what feels manageable, baby steps. Exactly. Don't, like, we talked about this, potentially feeling some of this overwhelm with all of this Gemini energy. Yes, and I have so much to do. Exactly. It's been extra difficult. We can do it. We can do hard things. All I can picture is a dog dragging himself across the floor. I love that. I love that. And thank you guys for helping us get to 50K. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that giveaway in just a moment. It feels exhausting and I'm procrastinating. Yep. All right. I'll be in and out. No problem, dear. Yep. Greetings, Susie. Yes, healing from a relationship that always had consequences. Sending you so much support, Elisa. I sleep, but I don't fall asleep. I'm still aware, so I never go into REM. No, so you're like getting caught in alpha. Yeah, that can happen a lot right now too. Gemini energy is like very much in that space. Be back soonish. No problem, Bridget. Joe, I can't make heads or tails of nonsense. Well, I think that, again, healthy situations always bring clarity. If you're seeking clarity, make sure you're not like digging into confusion looking for logic. Kath, I feel like procrastinating instead of thinking that I'm prioritizing rest. That's like again, often with a lot of this Gemini energy, it can be a lot of this, like, what was I doing? Where did I put that? Amber, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Geminis will just work around you very loudly until you get the hint and get on board with the job. Oh, I don't know if that's all Geminis, but like it's more like it is the fact, like, that's the thing about it. Like, Geminis will just, like, like they don't try to, like, they don't look. I mean, this is, I think, something that's helpful. Geminis don't look for ideal situations. They make ideal because it's more of the space of saying, like, what do we have to do? Like, just like, like like, it's not about finding the ideal, it's about what you do with what you find. Yes, love that reference. As I do earthly. Aries is just going to sit there and stubbornly resist until they get mad and do the job faster. I mean, like that, I mean, that is very true. Like Aries, like that's the thing. Like Aries will wait till the last minute and then they'll just race through it. Like Gemini is like clean as you go, and Aries is like, or worry about it later. You're so welcome, Andriel. Noted on double checking. You're so welcome, Kath. You're so welcome, Fig. You're so welcome, Erin. You're so welcome, Lolo. Erica, my mom is a Gemini and I'm an Aries. It's our dynamic most of the time. I totally get it. Oh, is that it? I feel the Aries energy. Oh, that's got to be fun, though. My mom is an Aquarius. She gives me a run for my money. Woof, I get it. Thank you as well, Susie. You're welcome, dear. All right, where were we? And Diva, thank you for the follow. Thank you for renewing, Grace. So good to see you today. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And thank you, Andrea, for the follow. Hold on a minute. I lost my spot. You're so welcome, Erin. Oh, thank you, Lolo. I appreciate you as well. There we are. Hi there, Hardy. Happy to read for you if you'd like to get on the list. List is open, sending you support. Hi there. I forgot I won the 100K giveaway last Sunday. Can I save this reading for another day? You absolutely can, Kath. No problem there. And thank you for subscribing, Grace. Andrea, thank you for the follow. Erica, using feelings as motivation instead of just a bucket of tears. I love that, Erica. Raised hand. Raised hand. We need a support group. Yep, this is my support group. Thank you, guys. There's only so many times we can mop the floor in a week. We need to clean something else. I like that, Erica. Heather, thank you for subscribing. Oh, Michelle, we just finished up the Daily Collective. If you missed it, it'll be up on the place where we keep the videos. It'll also be up on the place where we keep the photos. It'll also be up as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Substack. We're just about to get started on personal readings. Yeah, A10, you're not the only one crashing out right now. I tried to tell you guys, as soon as Mercury was going into Gemini, it was going to be a lot of energy, and Saturn transiting. It's heavy shifts. Just out of nowhere, sobbing. I was like, "What is going on?" I mean, I'll tell you what's been going on. I walked you through like the litany of the last 3 days as it relates to what we were seeing energetically. You know, the last 3 days we had the new moon in Gemini. We had Saturn finishing its transit into Aries, a lot of the past coming back to the surface, and then boom, we had Gemini, we had Mercury moving into Gemini. So it's a lot of those changes. No, reversals aren't bad at all. I didn't get out of my nightgown yesterday. Thank you guys for supporting each other. Don't be ashamed. Like, here's the thing. Don't be ashamed about it right now, dear. It's a lot of heavy energy. And thank you, Diva, for the follow. We need it sometimes. Yep. Don't feel guilty if you have to prioritize rest right now. The moon in its reversal is actually, I think the moon in a reversal can be a very positive thing. And again, a tower in reversal can be a very positive thing. These are all cards I don't mind seeing in their reversal. I don't mind seeing a 5 of Cups in its reversal. I don't mind seeing a 7 of Swords in its reversal. You know, there's a lot of cards and I'm like very glad to see in their reversals. That's not necessarily bad either. Depends on what it's in regards to. Exactly. I feel that though, the dragging energy. Yep. And thank you, Monica, for the follow. Where were we? Sometimes the reversal is outside energy. Truly depends on the surrounding cards. Exactly. And I try to do a lot of work in explaining that when I'm teaching my classes. Hi there, House of Kai. Aries evaluates everything, so you limit how many times you must clean up the mess. Exactly. Like Aries are like, we will do this once, and then we will put in rules so that this never happens again. Aries is always like, we will do this once, and then We will put in rules so that this never happens again. Hi there, Luna. Carrie, I'm just feeling very, very heavy lately. Not sad, just heavy. Again, we're talking a lot about that, Carrie. I think it has a lot to do. It's a come down from Saturn transiting. Lucy, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. I know you told us, but we didn't want to. I know you told us, but we don't want to. I deeply appreciate that. I feel that in my heart. See, Mike, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. I also like to see a 3 of Swords in its reverse. I couldn't agree more, Nikki. It's a good thing. It means it's healing. I know you said it, but I feel like I need a caution sign next time. I feel like all I was doing was putting caution signs. Go to the last few days of reading. I told you guys this is going to happen. Truth once, so we don't have to. Yeah, like Cal Sakai is like, it's okay. We're just going to make it so this never happens. All right, friends, we're going to get started on those personal readings, but wave the red flags. Exactly. All right. We're going to give that 50K reading out right now. So and thank you guys so much for helping us get to our 50K milestone. I am thinking of a number right now between 1 and Aries are like, we kept telling you, nobody wanted to listen. Exactly. I mean, like, I think the thing with Aries, I love Aries because, like, Aries, I need to point this out. Aries always understate things, you know? And that's the thing. Like, Aries try to, like understate things. And there's nothing funnier than when someone thinks that an Aries is exaggerating. Because Aries don't exaggerate, they understate. And so and so like when an Aries is like understating something, another person's like pish posh. Oh geez. Like, because that's the thing, because Aries know that they try to tell someone, like they try to say something to another person, and they never like, you know, like and Aries is like, please don't it's not like Aries don't bluff, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just like it's like all right, so we're gonna do the 50K. I am thinking of a number right now between let's see here, 1 and 57. First person I see the post number will get the reading. First person I see, not the first person that posts it. Sometimes I see things in an order different than you guys post them. Nope. 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 No. 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 Whoa, whoa, sunshine! Sunshine Reverie, congratulations. You got our 50K for today. We will do that again when we get to 100K. Thank you guys so much for participating, and thank you so much for helping us reach that 50K milestone, especially because when you tap that screen, it encourages the staff to push this reading out to those who have not received it before. So thank you guys. And we're already at 555K. Woo. So make sure you're tapping that screen, because when we get to 100K, we'll do that again. All right. Excellent. All right. The first person we're reading for today is Allie. Allie, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. Also, if you have information that you feel is relevant to our reading, for instance, if you have a past life you would like more information on, or if you have a dream that you would like interpreted, you can put it in the notes when you send the donation, or you can post it if you are a subscriber over on our subscriber only Discord channel. All right, I'm going to take a moment before we get started. I'll be right back in a second. We're going to start on that reading. 1 second, dear. All right. All right, looks like we're doing a reading on career. Oh, wait. Career, future, and finances. So we've got 5 cards. So we're gonna do an array. I'll do career, future, finances. Um, 1 card for each, and then 2 cards for advice going forward. Hold on a minute. No, it was 18, dear. I always forget the top number. Oh my God, you didn't get it. You must be struggling. I know. Hypno Frog did not take effect today. Wow. All right. Can I please get, and thank you as well, can I get 4 cards, please? Can I get 1 card for Allie on career? Thank you. Can I get 1 card for Allie on finances? Oof. Well, that's a little volatile. Can I get 1 more card for Allie on future? And highest priority messages from spirit and relationality to path. Thank you. I feel like there's some kind of struggle point that's happening right now. Um, there's like a struggle point right now between, it's interesting because it feels like there's a struggle point right now between career and finances. Like I see some kind of situation where you might potentially feel like you recognize the fact that you're leaving money on the table in some way. But I keep on hearing you say in some way, shape, or form, I don't want to do that. Is what I keep on hearing. You know, like this is saying to me, um, I feel like, like that's the thing. Like I see some kind of situation here that it's not for a lack, like it's not for a lack of work. It feels to me like this is a situation of like quality over quantity, you know? Like there has to be a conversation here because I keep on hearing it's like almost like I feel like there's a recognition point. I don't know why I keep on hearing something about your name being associated to something is what I keep on hearing. Like I feel that um and it almost feels like someone asking you or offering you, like it feels like someone asking or offering you to do something that feels beneath you, but also like it feels it would create it would create some like feeling of like it would free something up is everything I keep on seeing. And so that's why I keep on seeing, like I see some kind of situation where you're like, you know what I mean? Like I can see someone like, and I almost hear you like arguing with someone about it, you know? Like, and I keep on hearing somebody you saying to someone, it's not about the money. Um, I'll put it this way. And it's interesting too, because I'm seeing here, especially with it also feels to me, I don't know why this is, but they're saying that there's something to be said about locationality. There's something here to be said about locationality. I don't know if there's a factor that you haven't considered in something, but I keep on hearing that um, something you're doing might be harder where you are because it almost feels like I see some kind of situation where it's like I almost see like there's a situation where you're trying to make a name for yourself or you're trying to articulate on something. But and this sometimes happens when there's so much of that around us, it can become even more difficult. So I want you to think about something, um, not in the space of what you could be doing more, but is there something that you're doing that will help you, um, not I keep on hearing helping you not be superfluous, which is why I keep on hearing superfluous, because superfluous feels like almost somebody making you have to compete with another person. You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like this, like it feels like this energy of like having to energetically compete instead of working on something in a way that you effectively stand out. Um, so I want you to kind of take that into consideration in some way here, because um, the thing I keep on seeing about your path work right now is there's a lot, like the benefit to what I'm seeing is there's a lot of different directions that you can go into. But I keep on hearing that, like, you know, when we try to do too many things at once, it often feels like we're failing at everything all the time. And so if you're trying to do a lot of stuff at once and you feel like like you're failing all the time, it might be a good opportunity to work on prioritizing, um what like how like and I keep on hearing how you would ideally like to be, like how you would like to be seen. Like what is the most important thing that you're trying to work on right now? Because it does feel, I keep on hearing that everything can be done in the vector of time and priority. But if you try to do everything at once, it often can slow things down to the point that nothing feels like it's happening. So make sure that you're not spreading yourself out too thin right now. Make sure that you're not like in like such like a frenzied pace not to like miss an opportunity that like you like it's like you're like working in a space that like you're not getting things done to like the quality that you yourself would aspire to, is what I keep on seeing. um because there's something really important that I see in terms of setting healthy expectations as it relates to what another person wants to do versus like, and it almost feels like think I keep on hearing like, I don't know why I keep on hearing think of yourself more as a consultant in a certain way, which is instead of someone saying, "Can you do that?" Think about something saying, "May I suggest something?" Like helping someone see your vision, or like asking someone, like I keep on hearing, think about ways that you can put your vision forth instead of asking someone if they need help with something. Like I almost see some kind of circumstance or situation that you're learning to talk more about yourself, or you're finding the confidence in doing so. Um, Bottom of the deck on this reading, yeah, especially with the tower in its reversal. I feel like there's some kind of need for deeper healing here. Um, I keep on hearing, remember the song of jealous energy is who do you think you are, right? If you're good at something, there's nothing wrong with saying, and this is not the first time this message has come through over the last few days. When you're proud of something and you're good at something, it's not bragging to say it with your chest. right? It's not, I keep on hearing, it's not showing off if it's something that you're energetically proud of. Um, don't let someone make you feel foolish for talking about something that you're proud of, is what I keep on hearing. Don't let someone make you feel foolish um, for, like, I keep on hearing doing something in a unique way, or taking some kind of unique approach to something. Because I keep on hearing that there's saying there's something important that's happening across the vector of like both finance and career right now, which is basically, I feel like the solution is actually talking yourself up more, right? Helping another person understand, like, why working with you is different, you know? Like, I keep on hearing something about boutique, or something about um like, yeah, you can get that anywhere, but this is what I can offer. This is what separates me. And so don't be embarrassed about doing that type of work. And if you have a hard time with it, you know, find a friend, find someone and say, listen, can I just run something by you? Let me know how you feel about it. Because I feel like there's something about you, like, reclaiming some part of yourself. Like, it almost feels like energy that was like trying to get you to, like, dim your light, instead of being able to, like, it's like the type of energy that's like, I almost see like some kind of situation of you being like, you know like, I don't want to, like, I don't want to take up space, or I don't want to overstep. Like, I keep on seeing, like, if someone asks you to do something, there's no overstepping, right? It's like, it's the energy that, like, the energy that appreciates you says, thank you for telling me. They're not going to say, how dare you, is all I keep getting. Thank you so much for having, and again, I feel like there is something too about getting the word out on something, or communicating more, because you've got a lot of this Eight of Wands here, which is, again, not just doing something, but sharing what you're doing, like letting others see it, finding some way to, like, not only do something, but then, like, almost, I keep on hearing, sharing the journey of from, like, beginning to completion. That in its way is also some kind of breakthrough. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Allie. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. You will be the one, two, three, four, five, six. You'll be the sixth person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. We do dream interpretation readings here, highest priority messages from self to self. We do angelic guidance. We do pet readings. We do animal spirit guide readings. You can find the full list of things that we read for over on my tree that is links in it in my bio. And if you're joining us across the other platforms, you can also get on the list today via that same method. I'm going to take a minute to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading. Oop, hold on, lost my spot. Oop, oh, it's got the numbers now. I'm intrigued. Oh, hold on, I'm missing. I gotta figure out where you guys are. All right. Well, I did yesterday, but then someone had got it before me, so not really. Oh, fake. All right, quiet. You were there. There. I know you were on a streak. Lucy, your subscription is ending soon. If you'd like to renew, you do still have one on hold. Excellent. You're so welcome, Allie. Ah, thank you. Hi there, Grace. Yes, it has to go into effect. Then I'll get the read in regards to it. Ooh, interesting. I'll definitely post the scenario in Discord when it comes time. I'm intrigued. Okay, sending you support, dear. Hold on a minute, Allie. This is crazy accurate. I just took over my family business. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, it's giving me a little bit of this, like, there's going to be some changes around here kind of energy. That's what I keep on seeing, like it feels a little bit like, and that's the thing about it. It's like having, I keep on, and I want you to think about it this way. Like, I'm very excited to tell you about some changes. Okay? The way that you're not going to say, listen to me, you're not going to say we don't do that anymore. You're going to say, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to tell you about some new changes, is what I keep seeing. Okay? That's what you have to say. I mean, the uncomfortability is the fact, like, I see, like, that's the thing. I see a bunch of energy, like, it's having to, like, work into the space of someone taking you seriously. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difficult point. No, especially with locationality, because I do see something here that has something to do with locationality. I don't know if there's been a conversation about moving something or a plan to move something. I'm just seeing it like between the 8 and the 7, like an adjustment of plans. Punky, thank you for the follow. Nikki, that part, trying to do everything all at once can often feel like you're failing at everything. Exactly. Thank you as well, Allie. This is incredible. I'm just floored at how accurate everything you're speaking to is. I'm so glad that this message is in line, is connecting. You're going to make me cry. I can't even express how accurate and how much I needed to hear this. Again, you're so welcome, dear. And take that time is what I keep on seeing. And thank you guys. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, dear. Ryan, your subscription is ending soon if you'd like to renew. Okay, next person we're reading for today is Nikki. Nikki, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you would like me to answer. And if anyone else would like to get on the list right now, you'll be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th person read for. Hi there. What's up, Nikki? Also, friends, we're at 59.1K likes. When we get to 100K, we will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen. We're almost at 60K. We'll get to 100K in no time. Do you want to like wait till Bridget gets back? Bridget, Marco. What is that? This is what Bridget always says. Marco. Earth Angel, these are donation-based readings. So if you'd like to get on the list, you absolutely can. All you need to do is send a donation. And because you're a subscriber, it's 4 cards for 23 for subscribers. If you want to wait, Nikki, I'm fine with it. If you want to give Bridget a minute. The next person on the list for today is BB. BB, are you still here? Or was BB just giving me a dragon because he knows I like dragons? BB, what's up? Okay, you're welcome, Earth Angel. Thank you, Pig. Whoop, hold on, I lost my spot. Hi there, BB. How are you doing, dear guys? Make sure you give BB a follow. Wonderful tarot reader as well. So good to see you today, dear. Excellent. How are you doing? Good to see you. Can you let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? And just a reminder, guys, if you have information that is relevant to our readings, you can post it over on the place where we keep the video. What am I saying? You can post it in the notes when you send the donation, or you can post it if you're a subscriber on our Discord channel in the allocated channels for it. All right. Just waiting for it to come through. If you've already posted it, I haven't seen it come through yet. I'm just saying that because sometimes you know that this app doesn't like certain things. Yep, specific topic. Absolutely. The tea. What's the energy around? Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Oh boy. All right, can I have 3 cards, please? Highest priority messages from Spirit about what's going on with that connection. I mean, there's like, there's something about this that I'm seeing, which is, I don't know if this is something that they used to do all the time, is what I'm getting. Um, but like I keep on seeing that there's something about that. Like I just keep on seeing like I see like binoculars is what I'm getting, you know? Like it's giving me like something about binoculars and relationality to trying to figure out where you are. Um, like I keep on hearing like where in the world is Carmen San Diego is what I'm getting. Like I just keep on hearing that theme song. I keep on hearing where in the world is Carmen San Diego, which is like trying to figure out um like I don't know if there's like I don't know if there's like some kind of I don't know if you've like I mean I don't know if this person used to know where you were and now they don't, but like a lot of this feels like someone trying to get a beat on in terms of like where like I keep on hearing like where like I keep on hearing like stress on the where, you know. I also feel like it's interesting because it almost feels to me, I'm not sure what's going on with this, but it does almost feel like the type of vibration of someone like trying to cultivate a friendship is what I'm getting, you know? Like that's like the thing that's so strange about it is it does feel like almost like someone who's asking someone to do something by proxy, you know? Like I keep on hearing somebody like, "Can you talk to them?" or something like that. Because I keep on hearing the other thing I keep on seeing is, and I just need to stress this. And we say what we mean, and we mean what we say, and we don't say things like to get our way. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure what I'm identifying here, but like it almost it does kind of give me the energy of someone who like painted themselves into a corner in relationality to like I keep on hearing I like about like talking about how they feel, and I do see um like and this is what I mean about it, like this just it feels like a really complicated way to avoid a hard conversation, you know. um and the one thing but the like and I have to stress this because this is also like the one thing that I'm identifying here, which is when we're in healthy spaces, we don't ask others to speak for us, is what I keep on seeing. You know what I mean? Like there's something I keep on seeing that's really important about this because I keep on seeing like a situation of like it almost feels like some kind of game of I don't know why like I feel like it's almost like a game of hot potato in relationality to like another person. Like I almost feel like there's a situation where someone knows where you are But then they're like in this space that they're like double checking. And like, that's what I mean about this could just be a conversation, because it almost feels like someone who's trying to um, double check the authenticity of something that you said to them, like via another person, is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like that is almost like the difficulty point, because I keep on hearing that it shouldn't require double checking, because like it's saying to me like there's almost like that point of like authenticity. Bottom of the deck, yeah, especially with the Empress card in its reversal. um you know like when I keep on hearing like, can you talk, like that's what I mean, like, can you talk to someone for me, but don't tell them I said so. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing is what I keep on seeing. Like it's saying to me like it's giving me like a little bit of this like that's the thing that's so strange about it. It feels very much like I feel like I keep on hearing the situation of you saying to another person like, I can't be clearer, and them, and like I almost feel like there was a situation where like you honored another person's wishes, but that's what I mean in terms of like, that's why I keep on hearing we say what we mean and we mean what we say, and we don't say things to get our way, because I almost feel like there's something here that um like someone wants to have a conversation with you, but they realize and recognize that they've kind of made it impossible to do so. And I do see someone that's like not in a great place. You know what I mean? Like I see a little bit of this energy in relationality to someone like having a little bit of a potentially a crash out point. But like it's also the recognition of the fact that like I keep on seeing that like we don't like like we don't try to facilitate conversations like it's I keep on hearing we don't like it's not about getting through to someone. It's like when we sometimes have to have that moment of saying like, can you get like, I can't, like I need you to, like, this is the issue that I'm seeing, which is the fact that like it's not about the right person getting through. It's like someone needs to recognize like what they need to work on. You know what I mean? Because it almost like I almost see some kind of situation of someone like going into um like a lot of emotionality about something, but I'm also recognizing the fact that like honoring wishes is not having to like it's like I just keep on seeing a situation of being like I am honoring another person's boundaries, right? And even in the space of another person saying like, can you talk to someone, if you're saying like I'm honoring their boundaries, it's like I keep on hearing there's a boundary issue there. And even in the space of another person reaching out to you, it's like further amplification of why there weren't boundaries there in the first place, right? Like it's like I keep on hearing it's like it's the boundary issue that like is showing the fact that there's a boundary issue, if you know what I mean, right? Which is you saying like, again, often we recognize boundary issues when we say to another person like, I like, what have you done? And you say I haven't done anything but respect another person's wishes, right? Like, and I keep on seeing like that's not, and it's like, and I can see even them being like, can you just break the boundary they gave you, and be like, no, I can't, that would not be okay. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about it. It's like, no, it's like healthy. It's like it's about respecting the boundaries. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. It's a very complicated situation, is what I keep on seeing. And like I keep on seeing like a little situation of again, like I keep on hearing you know, you can sympathize for something, but sympathy doesn't fix things, right? And it almost feels like someone trying to like put their guilt on you instead of addressing what they can do about something is what I keep on seeing. Right? Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Phoebe. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. You'll be the one, two, three, four, fifth person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Thank you for that gift, BB. Next person we're reading for today. I'm not sure if Nikki, are we doing your reading yet? If not, let me know. Also, guys, we're at 65.4K likes. When we get to 100K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen. And I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading. All right. And Kat, thank you so much for those gifts as well. Leah, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Yep. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing about it. Like I keep on seeing like someone that was trying to confirm the fact that you were where you said like that's the thing about it. Like it feels a lot like why like it feels fairly obvious, but it's like somebody double checking something, which is odd. Oh, thank you. Thank you for confirming it was the mother. Yep. She already did, and thank you as well. It was right about I thought maybe she was calling. Yeah, nailed it. It seems I'm gonna put in the middle. Thank you. She waited. Sending you support on that. And that's the thing about it. Like it feels like again, it feels like I just see a situation where you're honoring others' wishes, and it's like I feel someone like trying to pull you into something that has nothing to do with you. You know, sending you so much support, dear. I'm sending you support. This resonates as well, Michelle. Thank you for confirmation, BB, and sending you support on that journey. Always looking. Yep. And thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. You're so welcome, dear. And thank you again. And guys, make sure you give BB a follow. Absolutely wonderful reader as well. Good to see you today. And now, Nikki, are we doing a dream interpretation? What are we doing today? Yes. Okay. Is it on the Discord? Just a reminder. If you would like, if you have information that is relevant to our readings, you can post it in the notes when you send the donation. Or if you are a subscriber, you can post it in our subscriber only Discord channel. I'm going to pull that up now. Bear with me. Okay, we are doing a dream interpretation. Please hold. Okay. I've got you here. All right, and it looks like it's outside tea. Excellent. Okay, so this is the dream. I had a dream that started in a strange city full of high rises. I was with my mom and my friend, and we saw people on the roof throwing furniture off, big couches just flying down. I was behind them watching out, yelling, "Watch out," when something was falling. We were trying to get into the building safely, dodging the furniture. Then I got transported up to the apartment where it was happening. I had to creep around the edge of the building to get there, scared I might fall. Inside was a group of college age guys, probably high. I told them they could be arrested, maybe for unaliving. They seemed shocked and stopped. It was like an Airbnb, and they were packing to leave. Suddenly, it felt like Coachella, and I was debating going with them since I didn't have my own friends there. There was a big communal space in a high rise with a kitchen, and lots of my college friends were there. We were getting ready for a party. I brought 3 bags: makeup, clothes, random stuff scattered around. Then I noticed my ex and his wife sitting on the floor. They weren't part of our group. Not everyone knew our history, but one friend did. My ex got up and started talking to my friend, then loudly said, "Nikki and I were supposed to go to Coachella, but she kept the tickets." It felt like he was bragging. He said it in front of his wife, too. I felt self conscious and annoyed. He kept getting in my way, so I asked him to move and pushed past him. Everyone was trying to leave, but I couldn't find all my stuff, especially some diamond rings. I was stressed trying to pick up everything up. Only 2 friends stayed behind. Then they started crying about something else. I finally said, "You guys just go, I'll be fine." Even though I felt uncomfortable, my ex was there. I wanted to make sure I had all my things and didn't want to burden them. 4 cards, please. You know what's really interesting about this dream is I keep on hearing that the dream is about karmic debt. And it has to do, I keep on seeing, um, with, I keep on hearing the weight of good riddance is what I keep on seeing. And I want to stress this because, one of the things that we've recognized in a lot of, and this is why I like to do work with clients repeatedly in the space of dreams, is we start to build a language on what we can interpret in relationality to what we identify in the dream space. And there's something really intriguing about the fact that frequently there are buildings or houses that you keep dreaming about. And we've talked about the fact that often when we're inside our house, that can talk about the mansion of the self. But in this dream, we see the fact that that has been elevated to the space of being in a strange city full of high rises. And you spoke about the fact that you were with your mom and your friend, and you saw people on their roofs that were throwing furniture off, like big couches flying down. And, you know, what I'm basically seeing is when we go to release karmic debt in a healthy way, we usually don't do it. We usually don't do it. Um, we don't do it while we're laughing, is what I keep on hearing. It's sacred stuff, right? It's bittersweet. We've been actually like reading about this. We've been doing this a lot in like the collective. It's working through like the journey of Saturn, which is looking at something and saying, I would have liked for a different outcome, but alas, we find ourselves here. And when we're not doing the work, we sometimes like to play off the fact that we're hurt at all, right? That we try to make it seem like something that we had did not matter to us, right? And I feel like this space where you were with energy that you care about, and you saw these people who were throwing things off of their roof, and you were trying to protect the people you care about. It almost says to me, it feels like a continuation on something that you hold dear. For instance, spirituality, which is not the space that you let go of someone, you laugh and say good riddance. You say, I did, it is what it is. I'd rather not it have been this way, but this is where we find ourselves. And I feel like that ability of you trying to get them into the building safely while dodging furniture is, and then being transported into the apartment where it was happening, and the fact that you had to creep around the edge of the building scared that you might fall. I think it's very interesting. And the one thing I would like, I would like clarity on, is if you associate Dani with masculine or feminine energy. Because for me, this is a conversation around the connection point between masculine and feminine. Because the fact that if that all that energy was feminine in the first part of the dream, it almost talks about, like, again, the catharsis of having to let go of spiritual karma, right? Which is the energy that says, alas, I wish things were not the way they are, but I'm not allowing the space of delusion to guide. It's just accepting of the hard truth. But when we're not in a healthy space, or when we try to use spirituality in a negative way, right? What does that look like? I don't feel anything. I'm healed now. I'm great. Doesn't bother me, right? It's like the false stoicism that says, look how strong I am because I can take something big and just throw it off of my building. So, that moment, and again, obviously, what did you do? You went inside, you found a group of college age, like, masculine energy that was probably, you said, probably high. So probably disassociating. So I feel like this is the context of, like, the false spirituality, where someone says, "Oh, it's great. I've healed. I don't feel anything. Look what we can. We look how much fun it is." Like, right, working through trauma by trying to get a laugh, right? Working into that context of trying to just get rid of things and be like, "I never cared about that in the first place. Look how strong I am because I can throw things off of the building." Right? And that space of you stopping them and telling them that this has consequences. That, and again, I think this is the important thing. They were potentially hurting other people in the process of just doing something to show off so carelessly, right? It's almost like you had to enter the space of the unhealed masculine and say, hey, I know this is fun, but there are people down there. Those things you're pushing down off have real life applications. That's not a thing, that's a person, right? That what you're trying to, like, say, it was just an object, right? The objectification that we often do in relationality to articulating something that doesn't matter to us. And you going in there and saying, look, there are real life consequences to your bold actions. Like, this is saying to me that there's something important about the connection that you have to your own masculine energy that almost creates the context by which there's some kind of gift that you have in communicating to masculine energy, where something that might not get through, like other people, like those moments that we often have with someone that's like, like in one ear out the other, you being like, hey, hey, right? Like bringing them, making them aware of something, they immediately listen to you because you could speak to them on their level, right? So this is potentially saying that I feel like this may talk about the fact that there's something about the masculine energy within you that you feel you've healed enough that you can build empathy for someone doing this to be able to stop them. And if you can't convince them as to why they shouldn't be doing it in the first place, your ability of articulating consequences to them as to like the real life application, right? And them kind of seeing you and respecting you allowed you to be able to get through to them. And this could have been like, this could also speak towards, I think it's important too, because you said it was like an Airbnb and they were packing to leave, right? Debating whether to go with them. And so again, it's almost that same journey I keep on seeing, like the energetic maturity point of someone who sometimes gets into that false doctrine of maturation that says, "Oh, I don't care about these things. These things don't matter. Look how grown I am. I can do these things without being hurt." But almost like you bringing in that space of understanding and saying to someone like, "Listen, that's not you being mature. That's you being immature." Right? That's not like that's not something that is cool. That is something that is awful. So something about the way that you communicate helps potentially others see why something they do that they feel valid in doing might not be the right thing to do because they're not building in enough empathy. Now, this brings us to that big communal space that you described with the college friends here. So again, a lot of this recognizing the signs of the fact that this is a karmic dream. Karmic dream does not necessarily mean that you got beef with someone, you're working through it, but it can talk a lot about the complications that we have in relationality to relationships. And you described the fact that in that space, you saw your ex partner. So this is almost again that juxtaposition. We just saw a bunch of college students. So we're going to see the dream in the second way, the second layer of the dream. In the first layer, you saw the fact that the guide was showing you and saying, "Hey, when we're younger, we try to show people how mature we are by doing something and saying, 'Look, I do this and I don't care about the consequences.'" And you having to say to someone that's not mature, that's actually immature, right? Now we bring you into the space of again, you've got an ex who's talking to a friend with their partner. And this is the important part because we're going to see the parallel with their partner. And what are they doing in the space of the partner? Me and Nikki, we're going to go to Coachella, but she kept the tickets. So what is he doing in that moment? He is performing the act of intimacy with you. He is giving a false sense of intimacy to those assembled to show the fact that you guys are energetically linked, at the same time, potentially damaging the relationship that they have with their wife in the process. Because in that moment, you are identifying two different violations that were occurring, which is why you said it was messy in the room. What was messy? You said you've got three different boxes, the three different piles that you talked about were you, them, and the partner. And when you said everything was on the floor, this is what it feels like when someone is trying to claim intimacy to us, right? To build a false impression of a connection they have with us that has real life consequences for the present relationships in their life. So even in that moment that you said you got angry, it's because you recognize that this is the same exact thing as pushing the couches off of the high rise, which is saying, "Hey, look at me. Look at all of these people I know. Look, me and Nikki, we used to be like this," right? Like, we used to be like this, right? In the presence of their counterpart, violating the intimacy, diminishing the significance of the intimacy that they both created with their current wife, but also violating the bounds of the violating your own boundaries in relationality to what was actually occurring between you. So this could articulate about the fact that you potentially feel that this is something that you experienced with them or something that you believe may still be happening, which is someone building a false sense of intimacy related to how connected they are to you, that then damages the relationship that they have with another person, all for the sake of what? Showing off to their friends, right? This is again, when we see everyone was trying to leave, you couldn't find your stuff, especially the diamond rings, because again, in that space, right, the messiness, right, potentially someone doing something that everyone else feels is cringy, they just want to get out of there, right, they're like, this is uncomfortable. You're trying to find the diamond rings, and you effectively sticking around to stay, and you're looking for the diamond rings. This is talking about how you're trying to heal your relationship to masculine energy, because you're looking for someone that doesn't take intimacy as something to hurt another person with, right? Not feeling like we're parading our intimacy around for others, being like, look, you know what I mean? Like, look what I can do, right? Like we're not pushing the things we care about off of ledges to see what a big what the sound is when it crashes, right? But instead, the energy that recognizes that we have an intimate connection with someone, we don't, I mean, again, it's not about not showing it off, but not showing it off for the effect on how it has on others, but the authentic connection that we are protective of it. We don't try to push it away from us. We say, where the heck is it? I can't leave without it, right? And it's the articulation point about recognizing what we do with something precious. When we have something precious, we don't push it as hard as we can to see what kind of sound it elicits. We hold on to it dearly. We prioritize it. We say to our friends, you guys go, this is what's important. So all of this was a conversation about healing karma in relationality to some kind of quality and characteristic that you may have identified in another person who felt like they were building connections, not because they truly cared about someone, but because they were trying to hurt someone else in the context of having one. Bottom of the deck on this reading, again, right? This is why we don't build into relationships to to hurt each other, right? Because when we're not building with intentionality, right, we often there are some connections, I know it's wild, there's some connections that connect to others just to wound another person, right? Yeah, I know it's painful, but it's sad but true. Sometimes there are connections formed because someone looks at someone like a weapon and says, I can use, like, this is my spear to hurt another person with, right? Like, it's like, I know it's awful to recognize, but sometimes we see that this is something that occurs. It all depends, and sometimes it can look very similar, right? It can look very similar